Police Minister Senzo Mkunu's instruction to disband the unit in December. Masemola revealed that 10 members of the task team were requested to assist members of the Gauteng counter-intelligence operations in a high-profile murder case following threats on their lives. For live updates on the Commission, visit ewn.co.za or watch live proceedings on our YouTube channel. The Gauteng Education Department has explained to Operation Dudula that it has a duty to cater for all children, whether they are documented or not. Operation Dudula has been going to a number of schools around Soweto today, telling them to stop enrolling pupils that are undocumented foreign nationals. Tabiso Goba has more.
After blocking entrances to public healthcare facilities, Operation Dudula has now shifted its attention to public schools. During its operation in Soweto today, it was confronted by the Gauteng Education spokesperson, Steve Mabona. Mabona says schools are not immigration centers and their only responsibility is to provide education.
We have a constitutional obligation to make sure that we teach all children. And constitutionally, all children of a school-going age must be at school. Now it's even worse. There's an introduction of grade R. The law dictates that those children must be taught.
Mabona says the issue of undocumentation doesn't only affect foreign national children, but also South Africans. Tabiso Goba, Eyewitness News.
The National Health Laboratory Service has admitted that although it's processed more than 12,000 biopsy samples, it's still waiting for a final sign-off from pathologists. This means a number of cancer patients are still in the dark about their results. Earlier, the service denied it had a backlog with biopsy sample testing, but today it admitted a shortage of pathologists has contributed to a backlog. Jabli Lembata has more.
The Democratic Alliance's spokesperson on health, Jack Bloom, sounded the alarm about a backlog of more than 12,000 biopsy specimens dating back to 2024. Today, the DA visited Charlotte Madlanga Hospital in Johannesburg to meet with the National Health Laboratory Services. Previously, lab officials told EWN there was a backlog of 1,540 unprocessed specimens, but today, NHLA's executive manager Elise Sharpkids admitted that in addition to this, there are 12,000 tested specimens which still need a final sign-off. She says they do have a shortage of staff.
There are 4 anatomical pathology platforms in Gauteng, but CMJ is most impacted because CMJ is not just receiving work from CMJ, but is also the catchment area for 15 hospitals. CMJ receives about 4,000 cases a month.
She adds each pathologist deals with about 40 cases per day. Jabuli Lembata, Eyewitness News, Johannesburg.
President Cyril Ramaphosa says geopolitical tensions and ongoing armed conflicts in parts of the world are among issues he plans to raise at a table with global leaders in New York today. Ramaphosa arrived in the U.S. earlier for the 80th United Nations General Assembly, which officially kicks off tomorrow. He's expected to spend the day participating in the two-state solution high-level meeting convened and co-chaired by French President Emmanuel Macron and Minister of Foreign Affairs of the United Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Faisal bin Al Saud. Talks include urgent calls for interventions in the ongoing genocide in Gaza, conflicts in Sudan and Democratic Republic of Congo, as well as the war in Ukraine and other geopolitical tensions. Speaking on his arrival in New York, Ramaphosa recommitted to championing robust multilateralism, peaceful resolution of conflicts and the unwavering protection of human rights.
It's wonderful to see so many countries surging forward to recognize the state of Palestine. So we'll be participating in that and holding bilaterals with a number of other countries, as well as meeting business people. So the highlights are many, and having a business forum with businesses that are interested in investing in South Africa. That too for us is important.
Staying in the U.S., Foreign Secretary Yvette Cooper says she has warned Israel not to annex parts of the West Bank in retaliation for the UK's recognition of Palestinian statehood. This comes as France and other European states are expected to join the UK, Canada and Australia in recognition of a Palestinian state. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says the move is giving a huge reward to terrorism. World leaders are gathering at the UN General Assembly in New York with a meeting on the path to a two-state solution to end the war in Gaza. Gold's trading at $3,722.79 an ounce. The rand's at 17.30 to the dollar, at 23.37 to the pound, at 20.39 to the euro. Brent crude oil's at $66.12 a barrel.
Leaving Alex heading towards Midrand, we still have slow-moving traffic in Kelvin, N3 north up between Marlborough and the Between Interchange, while in Centurion, bumper-to-bumper traffic still on the N1 northbound. This is between Botha Avenue and Rigel.
In your sport, Proteas women dismissed for just 115 in the third ODI against Pakistan. Quinton de Kock back in the Proteas fold ahead of short ball series against Pakistan. And Botswana declare public holiday following historic World Championships gold medal.
A look at your weather. It's clear skies in Gauteng this afternoon. Temperatures are peaking at highs between 27 and 30 degrees. The top story in Eyewitness News this hour. National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola has described the KwaZulu-Natal Political Killings Task Team as a highly successful unit that is unmatched when it comes to resolving crimes.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app, DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Very good afternoon, everyone. It's 8 minutes past 3 on Monday, the 22nd of September. This is 702 Drive with me, John Perlman. Wherever you're listening to us in 702 land, welcome to the show. Hope the weekend was good and the new week has got you off to at least a reasonably good start. More important disclosures coming out of the Madlanga Commission and some questions too. For instance, if Police Commissioner Fani Masemola thought the then Police Minister Senzo Mchunu was out of line shutting down the KZN Political Killings Task Team, why didn't he do something more decisive? Say something a whole lot louder than he did. More on that after 4. Some other stories we're covering. Business Unity South Africa is going to court to challenge some aspects of the Employment Equity Act. Khulekani Mate, who's the CEO, joins us shortly for that. And is taking drugs to improve sporting performance unfair? I think most of you would say, of course it is. But what if everybody taking part in the same event was allowed to take drugs? Sports scientist Dr. Russ Tucker joins us to get with his thoughts at 10 to 4. You may have heard there is something in the pipeline on the horizon called the Enhanced Games, where, do as you wish, no drugs testing. But between now and then, what are your views? 072 702 1702 and 011 883 0702. We've got all that and a whole lot more on 702 Drive, including breaking news. We'll bring you news from the roads with regular traffic updates with Karabo Chale, and we'll bring you the latest from the markets, where the JSE is up by about 220 points, with the all-share currently comfortably above 106,000 points. 106,331 was the number the last time I looked. No, down a little bit. 106,287. Either way, it's a lot. Harmony has gained 8.2%. Goldfields up by 4.7%. DRD Gold is up by the same amount. On the downside, Sasol has lost 8.7%. 91 is down by 4.2%. The rand's currently trading at 17.30 against the dollar. 20 rand 38 will get you a euro. A pound will cost 23 rand and 36 cents. The oil price is down by 49 cents today, currently trading at $66.08 a barrel. We'll have Stephen Curtis with us at about 25 past 4 with all the details. Sport coming up a little bit later with Tolakele Mganga. That's interesting. Quinton de Kock available for white ball cricket for the Proteas once again. Maki Molapo has the latest news headlines. You heard her a moment ago. Karabo Chale keeping an eye on the roads. This is 702 Drive. We're live in the place where you live. And if it's happening in 702 land, we'll do whatever we can to bring it to you first. But you can always help if you hear something, see something, know about something that we don't seem to be covering or might be missing the point on. Those numbers again, 072 7021 702 or 011 883 0702. This is 702 Drive. It's 11 minutes past 3.
702.
Let's walk the talk.
As always, we kick off the week with lots to talk about, lots of questions to ask, and plenty to think about, including some of those rather more random thoughts that are often more interesting than the seemingly more important thoughts to have. Jonathan Fairbairn, a very good afternoon to you. I hope your weekend was good. Tell me this. You've got an interesting story from China about somebody who decided to do something that would bring them good luck. It didn't entirely work.
Yeah, afternoon, John, and afternoon to our 702 family. Weekend was good, nice and relaxed, just what the doctor ordered. So I was looking on X, and this reenactment came up, one of these sort of animated videos of an incident that took place in 2017, where an 80-year-old Chinese lady was going to board a flight on one of the Chinese airlines. And she had taken a couple of coins and she had thrown them into the engine of the airplane. So officials had seen this and were like, what? No, you can't do that. Stopped the whole flight, delayed things, checked the engine, found the coins. There was, lots and lots of thousands of dollars in damages due to delays and all this kind of thing. They didn't prosecute the lady due to her age. But then I went and did
because, good luck, she that's why she chucked the coins in.
Yeah. And then I went and looked just on the news cycle, and there's been a few incidents. 2017, which was the one we were speaking about now, January 2020, and then again in March 2024.
Same thing.
Yes, throwing coins into the airplanes in China.
Because she would now be 86 by now, still at it. All these different
people.
No,
these are different individuals who were caught. So, and I think it's got to do with some kind of a belief in China that it's a good luck, or it's a. In her case, she said it was like for a prayer to have a safe journey.
Right.
So. I don't know where it originates from, but I think throwing coins into airplanes is led to believe that the flight will be safe. But it got me thinking about, do you have those omens, or, even if you want to call it a superstition that you could use for good luck if you're maybe going on a journey, or if you're about to do something, whatever it may be, but you think that this little thing is going to give me or bring us good luck.
Yeah.
Before something.
Yeah, it's a great question. So how about you, Karabo Chale? Anything in your life?
Well, mine is pretty simple. Every time when Pirates plays, I wear a Pirates t-shirt. And sometimes when I don't wear a Pirates t-shirt, we have a horrible game for some strange reason. So
how many t-shirts do you have?
I've got like 3.
Okay.
So
and
don't
you
worry,
wash
they
it
clean.
Afterwards. Some people sometimes, I'm never washing the shirt
sometimes
again.
you wear it and then I sleep in it. So yeah, but most of the time where I'm not wearing a Pirates t-shirt, I get very nervous on how we're going to perform, and most of the time we don't play that well.
There's a bit in your story that doesn't make sense to me. You love this team, hey?
I love it.
You love the Buccaneers.
Too much.
And yet some days you forget to wear your shirt. What's going on? You've got 3. That's why I asked you.
But then, sometimes it's just one of those, you go out with friends and then, you just forget to
This
wear
is
a
the
t-shirt.
Perlman Commission of Inquiry. You got 3 shirts. How hard is it? Anyway, Pirates fans, they don't like their luck being messed with. Keep your shirts handy. Keep a note to yourself. So, okay, a shirt that brings your favorite football team luck, coins in the engine of an airplane, you have a safe journey. You do in a way because you never take off. So I guess that's one way of securing it, but it has its downside, down on the ground side. But yeah, give us your stories, please. I bet there's some great ones. I don't really have anything that I do to bring me good luck. I do things to avoid bringing myself bad luck. I'm very, very careful to safely remove insects from the house without hurting them.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's a kind of a superstition that comes from absolutely nowhere I can recall. But give us your stories, please, on 011 883 0702 and 072 702 1702. 16 minutes past 3. We can't bring you luck in the traffic, but we can tell you what's going on.
Well, at this stage, John, Devlin roadworks still causing delays heading into El Dorado Park. That's on the Golden Highway between the N1 and Union Avenue. Kelvin, still slow-moving traffic. N3 northbound between London Road and the Between to Change. These delays have been there most part of this afternoon. It looks like there's an accident scene there. So if you're on that route, please give me an update. You can WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702. We are also on X at EWN Traffic. Centurion, also slow-moving traffic on the N1 North between Bota Avenue and Rigel Avenue. If you come across any other traffic issues as well, you can also SMS us on 31702.
Clement Maniatella,
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
Tata Morero, when were you expecting to construct this new pipeline, the one that's been constructed this morning by Joburg Water? I mean, did it have to take the residents to protest for 2 weeks?
There's no project that has to start as a result of a protest. In 2025, this year in June, we set aside in our budget 800 million that we're investing in the area. Also building a reservoir there, which will be concluded and handed over end of October.
Clements Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
Looking for real ways to live greener? Then don't miss Green Tip of the Week, your weekly dose of sustainable inspiration. From eco-entrepreneurs to climate champions, we sit down with the people making real change. Catch Green Tip of the Week every Tuesday on Afternoon Drive with me, John Perlman, 3 to 6 p.m. Only on 702. Proudly brought to you by Volvo. It's safe to be brave with Volvo.
In fitness, as in finance, endurance is key. If you're 55 and older, you can get an interest rate of up to 10.62% with a NetBank Electronic Optimum Plus account. Now feel the earn. Invest in under 2 minutes on the Money app and get money fit with NetBank. See money differently. NetBank. We're licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply. For more info, visit netbank.co.za.
This is your business. This is your business supercharged with the help of zero accounting software. These are your numbers. These are your numbers sorted with the help of zero accounting software. This is you.
Hi.
This is you taking business where you want with the help of zero accounting software.
Hello.
This is your business supercharged with the help of Zero and having your numbers sorted all at the same time so you can finally focus on taking business where you want to. Supercharge your business today with the help of Zero.
Search Zero with an N. Welcome to the brand new days.
Sail the world with Norwegian Cruise Line, with more to see, more to do, and more to enjoy. Plus, upgrade your holiday with NCL's More at Sea for premium beverages, specialty dining, and much more. Think international cruising. Think NCL. For the best deals available, visit ncl.com or contact your travel agent. Restrictions apply.
Welcome to the brand new days.
Naked people are great dancers. Because naked people spend less time on insurance admin, they have more time to perfect their moves. Go to naked.insure now, get a car insurance quote in 90 seconds, and get naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Let's focus our attention now on the Charlotte Madlanga Hospital and in particular issues around the treatment of cancer patients there. This is a story that we've been covering on and off over a couple of years, I think it is. And of course, adding to the complexity of all of this is what appears to be a substantial failure at the National Health Laboratory Service, where biopsies have not been processed and signed off by pathologists at the requisite speed. All of this is bad news for people in need of service from public health, but in particular for people who are dealing with cancer. Let's find out then about a visit today to the Johannesburg Anatomical Pathology Laboratory at the Charlotte Madlanga Hospital. Democratic Alliance conducting an oversight visit, and Jabulile Mbata, our EWN reporter, was there. Jabulile, good afternoon to you. What exactly was the purpose of the visit? What were they looking to either better understand or try and get answers about?
Good afternoon, John. So the visit was mainly to clarify, firstly, what the backlog is. So I think this is important to mention because last week, the lab officials said that, the crisis isn't as bad, and in fact, they only have about 1.5 samples that haven't been processed.
1,500.
Yes, that's correct. But the samples that have been processed, but have not had a final report, meaning, have a result of whether the person has cancer or not, those ones haven't been signed off by pathologists. And this is because they have a shortage of pathologists. And they're saying that this is actually because, once people finish their studies and qualify, they realize that the public sector doesn't pay as much, and then they go to the private sector. And obviously now, it means a shortage of staff, which means they can't process these samples as fast as possible. And in fact, they've even clarified the number has even gone up. So it's not 1,500, people standing without results. It's actually almost 14,000 samples that haven't had final reports.
So, Jabulile, let's make sure I understand this properly. The lab tests have been done, but for this to make sense and to reach a point where a patient and that patient's doctor knows exactly what John's results are all about, you need the pathologist to do the evaluation, and that hasn't been done.
That's correct. And again, because of the shortage of staff, they're even thinking of ways to retain the staff members. I mean, that can be difficult because if they are arguing that it's only an issue of money. And in fact, this is one of the questions the DA asked, is that, is it only money? Are there other problems perhaps the pathologists are facing in the, public sector? And very quickly that idea was dismissed, and it is said to be only about money, even though they didn't actually mention how much pathologists earn in the private sector. They made it look like that's the only reason you'll find pathologists leaving the public sector.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting thing. I think in an earlier interview on 702, I can't remember on which show, but I think they either at one point had more than 20 pathologists, and now they've got 2. I don't know if the number of staff that they actually have came into the answers and the questions.
So that did come up. They actually had they had 15 pathologists, and now they only have 4.
Okay.
And one thing that's very concerning is that, in fact, one of them is going to retire at the end of this year. So you can just imagine the number just keeps going down.
And the problems, that number keeps going down, and the crucial number goes up and up and up. Of course, the National Health Laboratory Service says they do not have money. If you type in the words National Health Laboratory Service and financial scandal, then you get this. The National Health Laboratory Service rocked by a scandal involving contracts worth about 200 million rand, which implicated its former chief executive and chief financial officers. However, that was apparently a while ago, and now they've got strategies to deal with it. But it is almost like smoke following you at a braai fire whenever you have one of these entities that says, oh, we don't have the money to pay people properly. You don't have to scratch very hard. You just have to do some Googling. And then you find out that actually they too have been caught up in the waste of public money. Thank you. Jabulile Mbata, EWN reporter, just back from a visit to the Charlotte Madlanga Hospital. If you're a pathologist or have studied pathology or know something about this world, maybe a technician working in this particular area of medical science, if you've got some insights into this, call us. I mean, why would people not work at the National Health Laboratory Service? And by the way, if you're running out of pathologists, where have the alarm bells been? Maybe they've been ringing and I haven't heard them. If that's true, I'm more than happy to admit it. But this is a national crisis. The other side of this crisis, by the way, and again, you might be able to shed some light on this. Are you or a family member waiting on test results? It must be agonizing. I've had some tests recently. I've used private sector service providers. So my wait time has been relatively short. It is a very unpleasant period while you wait to find out what those tests show, because invariably you're having tests because you may have a problem and you'd like to know what it is. If you've got something to share on that, please do. 011 883-0702 and 072-702-1702, 26 minutes past 3.
John is on X.
At John Perlman.
Right, let's look at the world of work, in particular at legislation around the world of work. Recently published employment equity sector targets are now the subject of legal proceedings initiated by Business Unity South Africa. What are they unhappy about, and what would they like to see change? Let's welcome Khulekani Mate, CEO of BUSA, Business Unity South Africa. Good afternoon to you and welcome. Your legal action, what are the key areas that you're asking the court to rule on? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, John, and to the listeners of 702. Thank you for the opportunity. So, John, firstly, I need to stay up front that our challenge is not to the principle of transformation itself.
Yes.
We actually support transformation. What we're asking the court here is to help us resolve the issue of how the sectoral numerical targets were developed and finally implemented. We set out in our papers the fact that there was limited consultation time given to employers, in some instances less than a week. There was insufficient information provided, insufficient analysis of whether these targets were actually achievable from sector to sector, because obviously sectors and industries are facing different realities, and that the implementation of these as a one-size-fits-all, in other words, not taking into account the specificities of different subsectors, it leads to targets that are unimplementable in some sectors. And so we're asking the court to set aside these regulations so that there can be proper consultation as set out in the law itself. Our contention is that that process was not followed, the process set out in the law itself.
So, Mr. Mate, give us an example, if you will, of where a target set for a sector doesn't take into account a subsector where conditions on the ground, historical, current, whatever they might be, would make that target unimplementable. If you could make this concrete for our listeners, I'm sure more people would get what it is that has driven you to the court.
Just as an example, John, firstly, we outline in our papers how we have asked the ministers, both the current and the previous minister, to disaggregate sectors so that you do not have targets that may not be implementable just because the skills profile of the different parts of the sector are different. So let me give an example. If you take just manufacturing as a sector, and there are, of course, codes and classifications of these, you have people who manufacture cars, for example, you have people who manufacture food, you have people who manufacture pharmaceuticals, etc. The types of skills that you require in these different processes are different. But if you lump it all together and set a target, the target might very well work for one subsector and be completely impossible for another subsector. So we asked the minister that rather than set it at a fairly high level of aggregation of sectors, set them with the understanding of the subsectors in question.
How do you understand government going about this in the way that they have? And I'm asking this in terms of two things you've said, Mr. Mate. The one is the lack of what you say is lack of meaningful consultation. The other is not to drill down to the detail where you say, food manufacturing and pharmaceutical manufacturing are substantially different and therefore need to be treated. How do you understand government not doing this? Because do you regard it as is it almost an expression of hostility towards the organized business sector? Is it sloppiness? What is it?
This is why, John, we ask the courts to help resolve these issues, because it's not for lack of trying on our part. There have been a number of instances where we have pleaded with government to say, please pay attention to this, but our pleading was just simply unheeded. So,
But why? I'm curious. Or are you as puzzled as me? I mean, you know the process better than I do, because I don't know it at all.
Look, we are as puzzled as you are,
Okay.
but we suspect that perhaps there was a rush to publish this and not due consideration was taken to doing things properly. And this is why we're saying that while we support transformation and support these, but we do not support recklessness. It has to be done properly, because if you don't, then you risk undermining the very goal of transformation which we support.
Khulekani Mate, thank you, CEO of Business Unity South Africa. 28 minutes to 4. Okay, let's get back to Maki Mulapo. She's keeping an eye on what's going on in the news and has a particular focus at the beginning of the bulletin, at least on the Madlanga Commission. What's happening in Pretoria, Maki?
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola has described the KwaZulu-Natal Political Killings Task Team as a highly successful unit that is unmatched when it comes to resolving crimes. Masemola made his feelings known around the work the task team was conducting while testifying at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry in Pretoria today. The task team has been a focal point of the explosive allegations set out by KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi in July, following Police Minister Senzo Mchunu instruction to disband the unit in December. Masemola revealed that 10 members of the task team were requested to assist members of the Gauteng counterintelligence operations in a high-profile murder case following threats on their lives. Oren Singh has more.
What started as a 5-member team of Gauteng detectives from counterintelligence probing the high-profile murder of Vereniging engineer Armand Swart last year resulted in only 2 detectives staying on the case, as 3 others pulled out due to threats against their lives. National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola alleges that senior police members infiltrated the investigation, protecting the cartel behind Swart's murder.
They were told by one of the seniors that there is 3 envelopes ready. One envelope is for the 2 of them, the other envelope is for the prosecutor, and the 3rd envelope is for the magistrate.
This pushed crime intelligence head Dumisani Khumalo to request assistance from members outside of the province, calling on his close ally, KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, to deploy 10 members of the KZN Political Killings Task Team to assist in investigating Swart's murder. Arun Singh, Eyewitness News, Pretoria.
For live updates on the Commission, visit ewn.co.za or watch live proceedings on our YouTube channel. The Judicial Commission of Inquiry into the Truth and Reconciliation Commission has issued a formal call for submissions as it intensifies efforts to gather evidence in support of ongoing investigations. It's now calling on all affected individuals and organizations to submit witness statements, memoranda, reports, or any other documentation that could assist its terms of reference. The Commission of Inquiry is tasked with looking into whether there was any interference in the investigation or prosecution of apartheid-era crimes. We move to the National Assembly, where Parliament's House Chairperson Cedric Frolick has read the Justice Committee the Riot Act over its inability to reach political consensus on a report recommending a new Deputy Public Protector. This despite the committee announcing in April already that it will recommend Advocate Dinky Dube to take up the job. The Public Protector's Office has been without a deputy since Koleka Kaleka began acting as Public Protector in 2022 before her permanent appointment to head the office in November 2023. Lindsay Dentlinger has more.
More than a year ago, President Cyril Ramaphosa directed Parliament to begin a process to recruit a new Deputy Public Protector. This after the first process during the previous administration was scrapped. Since announcing a preferred candidate in April, the Justice Committee subsequently bumped heads over the outcome in a fiery meeting in May after the EFF's voting rights were called into question after not having participated in the interviews. The MKP rejected the recommendation and the DA reserved its rights. Parliament's House Chairperson Cedric Frolick says the deadlock has turned into a game of political brinkmanship.
When committee meetings are called to discuss the matter, the quorum collapses because parties don't want to come to a decision. Now, that is unacceptable. We need a report that must come to the House and the House must give direction.
The same committee is also in a stalemate over the appointment of a new SA Human Rights Commissioner. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
And in North America, the death toll from the explosion of a gas truck in Mexico City has risen to 29 after 4 more victims died. The truck was carrying nearly 50,000 litres of fuel when it overturned and blew up while travelling through the city's eastern district more than a week ago, causing widespread damage and disruption. The local prosecutor's office says speeding was likely the cause of the accident. According to official figures, 16 people remain hospitalised, while 39 others have been discharged. I look at your weather. Clear skies in Gauteng this afternoon. Temperatures are peaking at highs between 27 and 30 degrees.
Kelvin heading towards Midrand, traffic sluggish. N3 northbound from London Road all the way to the Between Interchange due to an earlier accident. Also in Devlin, roadworks still causing some delays on the Golden Highway between the N1 and Union Avenue. Centurion, there's also slow-moving traffic on the N1 northbound between Buerta Avenue and Rigel due to roadworks.
The top story in Eyewitness News. National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola has described the KwaZulu-Natal Political Killings Task Team as a highly successful unit that is unmatched when it comes to resolving crimes.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
On the Midday Report, every day from 12 to 1 p.m, we will bring you breaking news from the scene as it unfolds with newsmakers, reporters, commentators, experts and analysts. We'll explain the stories of the day, give you context for why they are important and what they mean for you. It is everything you need to know in 1 hour, from news to global events, business, sports, science, books and always some good news too. Appointment listening, every day at 12 with the Midday Report.
The Midday Report
With Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
The South African Future Trust Summit, in partnership with Standard Bank, is fast approaching. This premium entrepreneurial showcase will return to the Sandton Convention Centre on 5 and 6 November, with international and local speakers sharing groundbreaking insights from their entrepreneurial journeys. With 2,000 plus delegates and over 200 exhibitors all under one roof, you can experience the extraordinary world of thriving entrepreneurs and business owners. Get your ticket now for 1,800 Rand each for the 2 days at summit.southafricanfuturetrust.org in partnership with 702.
You've reached in his Renault Duster en route to Dullstrom. This journey is taking to try a sport far more boring than its name might suggest. Fly. Fishing. He'll be in his Renault Duster, which he bought with 40,000 Rand trade-in assistance.
Leave it all behind in the new Renault Duster with 40,000 Rand trade-in assistance. Offer exclusive to Renault Financial Services. Product of ABSA. T's and C's apply.
It all starts with FNB Private. Diversify your portfolio to grow your wealth. Gain global exposure through shares or unit trusts on the FNB app. Tap into international investments and tax-efficient offshore trusts to build your legacy. Unlock invaluable with FNB Private. Help changes everything. FNB, a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized FSP and credit provider. FNB International Trustees, FNB IT registration number 3080. Licensed by the Guernsey Financial Services Commission to conduct fiduciary business. T's and C's apply.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Good afternoon, John. Regarding the enhanced games, I'm all for it. If grown-ups want to sign up to risk their own health in the long term or even in the short term for our entertainment and also for, proving a point as far as what the human body is capable of doing, enhanced as it may be, I'm all for it. Because every day you turn on TikTok, you switch on any social media app and you're seeing somebody risking their lives for likes and clicks and retweets and for 15 minutes of fame on a viral video. And that's legal. I mean, we've seen guys do backflips in between buildings, all those kind of things. So, yeah, man, just let the guys be. It's grown-ups anyway. A lot of grown-ups sign up for things that eventually kill them, such as alcohol or smoking. So, hey, may as well. Sorry, this voice note got a bit dark.
Back in when I was in under 13, I played a game of cricket and I was lucky enough to score 100. And after the game, I was getting undressed and I realized I found there was a 50-cent coin in my pocket. And ever since then, throughout school, Whenever I batted, I'd make sure I had a 50-cent coin in my pocket all the time. If there was any reason why I couldn't find a 50-cent coin or something, I would always play badly. But it's because I think that was just a mental thing. But even to this day, I'm 37, I still play the odd game of cricket. And I just always make sure I've got that 50-cent coin in my pocket. That's my story.
Fabulous story. Thank you. And interesting views on the enhanced games. If you wondered what that is, you might have joined us before. I mentioned we'll be chatting to sports scientist Dr. Ross Tucker. But there's something called the enhanced games, people competing. They're going to take place, by the way, in 2026. They're going to take place under rules that allow under medical supervision for people to take whatever drugs or performance-enhancing substances they like. And it's in the news because the sprinter Fred Curley, who won bronze in the 100 meters at the Paris Olympics, but then faced a provisional suspension around drug issues after that, has said, well, he's going to take part in the enhanced games. So Ross Tucker to talk us through what it's all about, and I'm hoping prompt some other inputs from some of you, because there are some really interesting issues, I think, that it raises. On the question of the National Health Laboratory Service being some 14,000 samples behind in doing the work that the taxpayer pays them to do, this contribution from Margaret, who describes herself as a retired medical scientist, says, regarding finalizing cancer biopsy results, perhaps they should look at an AI system where the pathologist would sign off the result. Also, use of telemedicine links with out-of-country partners, perhaps in India. Two interesting ideas there. As I say, if you work in that field, call us, please, with your thoughts. 17 minutes to 4.
EWN Sport.
Tola Kele, very good afternoon to you. Proteas women have already won the series, so the war won, but not doing so well in today's battle.
Absolutely, John. And we do start in Lahore. That's where the Proteas women were bowled out for just 115 in the 26th over of their third ODI against Pakistan. Only 6 players recorded double figures as Captain Lara Valdvar top scored with just 28 for South Africa, who've already won the series. Nashru Sandhu took 6 for 26 for the home side, who are now at the crease on 48 for the loss of 1 in the 16th over. They require just 68 more runs for victory. Batting is Amin on 16 alongside Ali on 13. For the men, wicketkeeper Quinton de Kock has reversed his retirement from ODIs and has been recalled for the short ball series against Pakistan, which starts next month. Themba Bavuma has rested as he continues his recovery from a calf strain, and in his absence, Aiden Markram will lead the side. Shukri Conrad has welcomed the return of de Kock, who hasn't played for the Proteas in any format since the 2024 T20 World Cup final.
No, it was quite interesting when we got to Australia, middle of the night. We got to Darwin and just put my head on the pillow at about 2 a.m. when my phone rang, and it was Quinny. And I chatted for a bit, and I said I'd come back to him in a couple of days, and chatted to a few people, and the rest is history. Great to have him back on board.
It was contrasting fortunes for the South African teams in the CAF competitions this weekend. Orlando Pirates ran out 3-0 winners of Dioli in the first leg of their preliminary Champions League clash, while Kaizer Chiefs lost 1-0 to Kaapstad in the Confed Cup. In the Bedway Premiership, Mamelodi Sundowns are second on the log following their 3-1 win over Durban City, whilst Kukino United continue to top the standings following their 1-0 win over Golden Arrows. Following their success over Gavin Hunt's Chargers, Miguel Cardoso discussed what Fawaz Bazadine will have to do to become a regular in his starting 11.
The opportunities for the player to show himself are not very big. So it's also not, but there will be a moment that things will happen. Let's hope it doesn't happen because another one gets injured. Let's hope it doesn't happen. But naturally, he'll have his opportunities like the other one. So there's no, just normal. I could state other names that are not playing in the moment that could be in similar situation. It's pretty difficult. Sometimes it's difficult because you are so close. You can be first 11 and immediately not play.
And Botswana has declared a public holiday to celebrate the country's victory in the men's 4x400 meters at the World Athletics Championships. That's after they became the first African nation to win the event. President Duma Boko hailed the gold medal as a historic African win, while Monday, the 29th of September, is the date scheduled to celebrate the achievement. Botswana edged out the United States, who had won the last 10 world titles, in a rain-drenched race which also saw South Africa taking third position. Tola Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
At 14 minutes to 4, this EWN traffic is brought to you by Take A Lot. Happy delivered. Let's find out what's happening on the roads and clock in now with Karabo Chale. In Kelvin, there are delays.
Yeah, heading towards Midrand, you can expect about a 30-minute delay. That's in the Kelvin area, N3 North, from London Road all the way to the Butler interchange due to an earlier accident. Also leaving the Joburg CBD, heading towards Germiston, accident scene M2 eastbound near Heidelberg Road, causing major delays from the Crown interchange. Devland heading into El Dorado Park, roadworks are causing some delays on the Golden Highway between the N1 and Union Avenue. We still have slow-moving traffic in Protea Glen on the N12 westbound between the R554 Abu Bakr Drive and the R558. In Centurion, expect some delays on the N1 northbound from Buerta Avenue all the way to Rigel. Also, due to roadworks, Irene, traffic pressure approaching the intersection of Nalmay Pierce Drive and Main Road. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Traffic is trafficking. The robots aren't AI, but more like an eye roll, and service delivery isn't delivering. But luckily, Take A Lot is. Shop anything from beauty and sport to tech and toys at everyday low prices and get it delivered to your door faster than you can get home, even when you take the back roads. A delivery so quick, the speed thrills. Halala with no limits, just the open road of happiness before you. Take A Lot, happy delivered.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
So, Tola Kelly, we're talking about things we do to bring us good luck. Anything like that you weave into your day, week, month, year?
I always light my candles the night before, switch off the lights, and I just have like 5 minutes where I just play like a lo-fi track for 5 minutes just to center myself. And then I just say like affirmations where like luck is on my side, tomorrow's going to be a good day. Like anything to just uplift me and get me into a positive mindset. And then in my head, I always think like everything always works out for me. So I just navigate the day that way. And I believe that it does bring me luck.
So do you do that just before you go to sleep?
Before I go to sleep, and sometimes after I've had a hard gym session, because I'm like the hardest part of the day has already passed.
Right.
So then I just center myself in believing that everything else will come easier.
How do you define luck?
If I want something and if I think, okay, it would be nice if X, Y, and Z happened, and then it happens, then I'm like, oh, I'm lucky today.
I wonder, hey? I've always drawn a distinction. I mean, I'm getting off the topic slightly between luck and fortune. Luck is winning the lotto, although you do have to take a ticket. But fortune for me is where you've done all sorts of things to get yourself in a position to take advantage of luck. So anyway, but I suspect some of the things you describe as luck, you've probably put in the yards and some extra. Anyway, what do you do to bring yourself luck? Give us a call on that on 011 883 0702 and 072 702 1702. It's 11 minutes to 4.
You're with John Perlman
on 702.
Hi, John. I will unfortunately not be on time to listen to your segment with regards to the illicit drugs or drugs being used for sporting events and so on. But I think it's again not fair. Unfortunately, some sporting teams and some sporting countries have access to better medications and doctors and so on compared to others. So even if you do allow people to use, let's say steroids as an example, the quality of steroids, how it works in your body, those type of things, not every sports team or sports person has access to doctors and, knowledgeable people that will be able to help them use it correctly or use the correct substances as well. Some might not have money to be able to buy stuff that is decent. So again, you're actually putting the health of an athlete at risk as well. And again, countries with more money and more knowledge and all of that, they will definitely then win these events, even if everybody is allowed to use steroids. The amount of steroids, the quality of the steroids, all of that is also going to play a factor in winning or not winning.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's true, but isn't that true of all sports anyway? That, For example, if you take an event like the 400 meters hurdles, you need a track, you need access to hurdles, you need an access to coaching. And I remember interviewing the first African athlete to ever win the 400 meters hurdles as an absolutely brilliant Zambian called Samuel Matete. He won the world championship event in 1991. That's 34 years ago. But if you fast forward to now, there are athletes competing in those kinds of events from all over the world, and predominantly they are either from the global north, or in many instances, if they are from the global south, they have gone to US colleges and managed to benefit from all of those things. But I don't think that's unique to a drug-enhanced games. I think it seems to be true of sport in general. The fascinating thing about sport is where people take those disadvantages and turn them into natural advantages, and you would get that with Kenyan and Ethiopian long-distance runners and footballers the world over. 8 minutes to 4.
Drive Home with John Perlman
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
Right, let's get to that story then about the enhanced games, as they are called. They'll take place, it's scheduled in 2026. In the news because Fred Curley, who got bronze in the 100 meters at the Paris Olympics, US athlete, and was then provisionally suspended for alleged anti-doping whereabouts violations, couldn't compete then in Tokyo. But now he says, he's going to run in the enhanced games. So what is this all about? And does this in any way disturb the waters of sports, particularly athletics, but others as well, that are trying to deal with the enormous damage that drug scandals have wreaked on competition and credibility? To talk about this, we're joined by sports scientist Dr. Ross Tucker, also hosts a Science of Sport podcast, by the way, called Dr. Tucker, welcome, and thanks very much for your time. What should we make of the enhanced games? Is it a money-making gimmick, or is this raising serious and possibly some troubling questions about sport as we know it?
Hi, John. I think both. I think when it was announced for the first time, and I've lost track a little bit, probably 18 months ago, it felt like a gimmick. It has since become, I think, quite apparent that, and I'll be blunt, I think the people who are running that are grifters, and they're using the concept of elite sport and this event and Olympic athletes as a shop window. And fundamentally, what they're trying to do is they're trying to sell supplements and drugs to people who want to reverse aging. And when you go to their website, you'll see that. It's not even hidden. It's in plain sight. But at the same time, I think the fact that they're sending tentacles into elite sport, and they're getting top track and field athletes, they're getting good swimmers, even ones who are slightly towards the back end of their careers, I think that it's actually becoming a threat to the integrity of sport, and more of a problem than I thought it would. So I think the short answer is both. I think they're gimmicks, they're definitely selling something, but it could also undermine sport.
So do you have any sense of how this would work? I mean, performance-enhancing drugs can be dangerous for health. They're getting ahead of that argument, saying, well, this will all be done under medical supervision. But is that a bit of a fig leaf?
A little bit, although it's an interesting fig leaf because it wasn't there in the beginning. When they launched the concept, they just said, we're going to let athletes dope, no restrictions. And I think they realized quite quickly, probably under some legal pressure, liability concerns, that they had to put something in place. And so in the first 6 months of their existence, they went from saying anything goes to saying, here's a ceiling, and we're going to manage and regulate how much doping is allowed to happen in these athletes and supervise them. So as it stands now, they've got a medical and a scientific team that will allegedly oversee and, in theory, protect athletes against the harms of doping without any restriction. At the same time, and this refers to my first answer to you, was the elite athletes represent a very tiny fraction of what I think their target market is.
Right.
And what they're actually selling is they're selling membership of what they're calling a supervised program of doping. So you can go to the website, and this is by no means an endorsement, but you can go to the website and you can click on a button that says get started, and then you can choose your package, and you can pay for some anonymous online person or AI, who knows, to advise you about how to use testosterone and growth hormone and so on. So there's an offering for the public, which I think is their business model. But for the elite athletes, they're saying we will supervise and facilitate safe doping in order to show human performance capacity like a unit that you've never seen before. So there's sort of two offerings there.
I mean, I've watched quite a lot of the World Athletics Championships, usually recorded and fast forwarding to the bits I want to watch. But what is apparent is that you can look at something like the World Athletics Championships and say, well, this was all about Noah Lyles. But the fact is, that first of all, there's another 7 runners who've got to be racing him in the 200 meters, and that's just the final alone. I mean, to have any kind of credible sporting event, you need scale. I mean, do you ever see that them accomplishing that kind of scale with any kind of credibility? Because even in the semi-finals, there are runners, jumpers, etc., who might well surprise.
Exactly. 10,000 athletes in the Olympics last year. 5,000 men, 5,000 women. World champs, obviously smaller because it's one sport, but you need volume. I think the way they've tried to position it so far is exhibitionism. For instance, earlier this year, 2 swimmers went after the 100-meter and the 50-meter freestyle world record in what were basically solo events. But that model can only survive for so long, because in the absence of competition, people will lose interest quite quickly. And I'm hopeful that that is what happens. I hope that the likes of Fred Curley and Ben Proud and so on represent the first wave, and it stops. And that you don't get, because you point out Noah Lyles has beaten 7 other athletes. There would have been 50 other athletes who didn't even make that final in Tokyo. That's the enhanced games market, is that athlete who's ranked 45th in the world, who's not making money doing clean sport, and they can say, here's $50,000, here's $100,000, come and join us. And so that's the threat. But I hope that the volume is what ultimately kills them.
And just finally, I mean, does this raise... we talked about ripples in the pond, and maybe it's could become more turbulent than that. I mean, this is scarcely a pond; it's a large lake. But let me go back to the question, Dr. Tucker. I mean, do you have any concerns that in the public's mind it may create an ambivalence about whether drug-free sport is actually the gold standard to which we should be holding, even if sports? Mainstream sport itself can get a little murky on that question.
It always has been, and it's a really interesting philosophical question to which I don't really have a clear answer. I think it could, though. Before they got any names, James Magnussen, the Australian swimmer, was the first. They've then had a British swimmer, and now obviously you mentioned Curley. My thinking was that no big name would go across.
Yes.
But one by one, every single athlete who goes across causes us to sort of have this creep of our standard. And if Fred Curley goes and runs at their event in Vegas, and let's say Fred Curley, who's a 9.9, 9.8 guy, if he breaks Usain Bolt's world record, and it won't, to be clear, it's not going to stand, but let's say he can run faster than Usain Bolt ever did, then I worry that there will be enough people who want to see the show and who then start to say, that's where I'm going to see the fastest athletes. So I'm really hopeful that it doesn't happen, and that they can't attract athletes, A, with the necessary base, and B, who respond well enough to doping to do it. So I think those two things, that plus the volume, will hold them back. But I mean, two years ago, I wouldn't have thought that I'd be sitting here talking to you today about Fred Curley and Ben Proud.
Yeah.
It does make me a little bit anxious, but I think societally we have to hold a moral line. So I'm encouraged when I see the criticism of Curley and of Proud and of Magnussen, and as long as that continues, I'll be reassured.
Thank you so much. Intriguing stuff, Dr. Ross Tucker, sports scientist, joining us on the line from Cape Town. You can catch his Science of Sport podcast.
702 Afternoons
with Relebogile Maboja, 1 to 3 p.m.
Is this your first time at the Joy of Jazz?
No.
You've been or regular?
Actually, this is a commemoration of my 20th year.
I can't
The first time I did it, I was still with Mahube, with our bra Olive and them.
How does it feel graduating to the level where it becomes all about you?
I actually feel I'm getting my doctorate. Thank you very much.
Afro jazz singer and composer Pinda Makala.
7:02 afternoons.
With Relebogile Maboja.
Let's walk the talk.
Every pothole, power cut, or burst pipe tells a story of frustration. But how that story ends is up to you. Fix Local helps you report local issues, escalate them, or as a last resort, fix them yourself safely and legally. It empowers you with tools to work with or hold local government to account so you can build the neighborhood you deserve. Visit fixlocal.org.za to take up issues in your area. 702 supports Fix Local. Let's walk the talk and fix local together.
At Premier Hotels and Resorts, business travelers staying alone enjoy a complimentary drink every night of their stay. So, whatever your tipple, it's on the house at any of our 24 hotels and resorts nationwide. Book today at premierhotels.co.za.
Insurance pulls you in. Pineapple pulls you under. Insurance. Pineapple. Insurance. Pineapple. Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP.
This is EWN.
National Police Commissioner says disbandment of the KZN task team was unlawful and hope for the blind hospital restores eyesight of patients in rural Limpopo. Good afternoon, I'm Mikey Malapo. We begin in the capital where National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola has highlighted the achievements of the Political Killings Task Team since its inception. Testifying before the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry in Pretoria today, Masemola questioned the motive behind Police Minister Senzo Mkunu's decision to disband the unit. He has revealed that between 2018 and February this year, the task team handled 612 case dockets, of which 297 have been finalized. Masemola maintains that these figures demonstrate a strong record of success.
No, Commissioner, there was nothing that negative that we could have said happened with the task team that might have changed opinions. The task team kept on doing good work all the way.
Section 207 of the Constitution states that the National Police Commissioner must exercise control in accordance with the direction of the Minister of Police. Masemola says given the task team's record of success, Mkunu had no legal basis to issue an instruction for the disbandment of the unit.
To go further to say disband, but then after saying disband, then you go further to say now, not even tomorrow. I think that is totally encroachment into the mandate of the National Commissioner in terms of performance of my duty.
For live updates on the Commission, visit ewn.co.za or watch live proceedings on our YouTube channel. In KwaZulu-Natal, the Richmond local municipality has described its slain former municipal manager Superstitions Stole as a dedicated public servant. Stole was killed allegedly for wanting to expose corruption in the municipality back in 2017. His murder case is now nearing an end with Sabelo Pewa, the man convicted of his killing, set to be sentenced tomorrow. The municipality says while it awaits the sentencing, it will remember Stole as a loyal public servant. Richmond local municipality mayor Melikaya Ngongo.
He diligently served Richmond with all his heart. He was so passionate about community development. Somehow he left the bold mark.
Ngongo says Tole executed his duties very well.
Under his leadership, we had sound governance. Under his leadership, we had sound political and administration governance. We had stable financial management.
The Higher Education Portfolio Committee has written to the Public Service Commission requesting its intervention over Minister Buti Manamela's appointment of administrators to oversee 3 sector education and training authorities. The DA has also written to the Commission for it to guide Manamela on the appointments that have been rejected by most members because some are implicated in alleged wrongdoing. Manamela appointed the administrators to turn around the services SETA, local government SETA, and the construction SETA last month. Babalo Ndenza has more.
Buti Manamela appeared before the committee on Friday to explain his decision to put the SETAs under administration. While Manamela stood by his decision, the committee remains concerned about the recruitment of the administrators and what it calls contradictions on the release of a forensic report into the affairs of the SETAs. Manamela says the administrators were identified through headhunting of suitably qualified and experienced candidates. But committee member Karabo Khachau has written an open letter to Commissioner of the Public Service Commission, Professor Somadoda Fikeni, calling on him to intervene.
Requesting that he guides Minister Manamela's compliance with the values and principles of Chapter 10 of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa as a matter of urgency.
The committee says Manamela must strengthen the department to avoid yet another problem on the SETAs and their continued mismanagement. Babalo Ndenza, Eyewitness News.
The Gauteng Education Department has warned Operation Dudula it will call the police on them if they disrupt schooling. The controversial civil organization group turned political party has shifted its attention from blocking access at public healthcare facilities to now public schools. Today, members from Operation Dudula visited a number of primary schools in Soweto, telling them they should stop enrolling undocumented foreign children. The organization has threatened disruptive action by next year, January, if their calls are not heeded by the schools. Gauteng Education spokesperson Steve Mabona.
As a department also we have a responsibility to work very closely with the law enforcement agencies to make sure that there's law and order in our schools. Anything you do, as long as it's within the confines of the law, that should not be a problem. But if you go to our school and do anything that is unlawful, then the law enforcement agencies must assist us.
And in the northern part of the country, Hope for the Blind Hospital in Limpopo has set its sight on scaling up its life-changing operations at the facility as the non-profit looks to address preventable blindness in rural parts of the province. The specialist eye hospital, working together with First Light, focuses primarily on cataract surgery, making the surgery accessible to some of the province's underprivileged patients. Using a cross-subsidy model, the hospital charges market rates for patients with medical aid, which helps fund surgeries for those who can't afford the cost of treatment. Eyewitness News recently followed the journey of 3 elderly patients who were elected for the surgery. This is what they had to say about what this newfound sight means in their daily lives.
Now I'm grateful. I couldn't see. Now I see. My heart is satisfied.
I can see. This is the ground. This is that.
First Light art curator Johan Stechman.
In Limpopo, we've got thousands of people in the rural areas with a lack of access to healthcare that are blind in both eyes due to cataracts. So there's many more people that would benefit from cataract surgery, but people that are completely hampered by blindness due to cataracts are in the multiple thousands.
Gold's trading at $3,717.41 an ounce. The rand's at 17.33 to the dollar, at 23.40 to the pound, at 20.40 to the euro. Brent crude oil's at $66.01 a barrel.
In Kelvin, heading towards Midrand, you can now expect about a 30-minute delay on the N3 northbound between London Road and the Between Change due to an earlier accident. Also leaving the Joburg CBD, heading towards Germiston, accident scene M2 eastbound near Heidelberg Road, causing huge delays from the Crown Interchange. And also, if you're heading into the Joburg CBD, there's also an accident scene in Boysons on the M1 North near the Crown Interchange, causing about a 20-minute delay.
In your sport, Proteas women dismissed for just 115 in the third ODI against Pakistan. Quinton de Kock back in the Proteas fold ahead of short ball series against Pakistan. And Botswana declare public holiday following historic World Championships gold medal.
Look at your weather. Partly cloudy skies in store for Gauteng tomorrow, along with isolated showers and thunder showers expected. Joburg will drop to overnight lows of 11 degrees and peak at highs of 30. Pretoria is at 14 and 32. Vereeniging's at 12 and 31 degrees. The top story in Eyewitness News this hour. National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola has highlighted the achievements of the Political Killings Task Team since its inception.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
7:02.
Drive home with John Perlman.
John Perlman, 3 to 6 p.m.
On 92.7 and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
7:02 drive, it's 11 minutes past 4. What kind of start has your week gotten off to? A good one, I hope. Mine's been good, and we've got some good stuff lined up for you over the next 2 hours or so. Coming up shortly, we'll be chatting to EWN reporter Oren Singh, who's been out at the Madlanga Commission. I thought the morning has been really, really interesting, and the afternoon was very interesting as well. Police Commissioner Fani Masemola was being asked very, very pointed questions, I think, about why, if he was absolutely sure that the instruction to disband the Political Killings Task Team given to him by I suppose still now, but what do we call him? Leave of absence, Minister of Police, suspended. I must get this term right. Anyway, Police Minister Senzo Mchunu, was an unlawful instruction. What is not clear is the extent to which he actually opposed it. Because he says he went to the president, he engaged with the minister and did various things. But we'll get Oren Singh's take on that in just a moment. If you're watching, maybe you've got a view of your own. Coming up a little bit later in the show, we'll be taking a look at some aspects of the B20, the grouping of business leaders that does the work of the G20. And many of you have been responding to the question I asked you, what exactly do you do to bring yourself good luck? Some of you sent me some interesting answers to that. Let's take a listen.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Hi, John. Interesting conversation about luck. I remember hearing the whole thing about luck being phrased in the following manner: to say luck is when preparedness meets opportunity. So I like that so much because it also aligns to the fact that, you make your own luck. There is no manna from heaven. So really, luck is when preparedness, you being prepared to own, have something, have a responsibility for something. You finally get to have that opportunity to have that which you want. And once it's brought into alignment with yourself, in the physical sense, then for me, you're in luck, because not a lot of people get to experience that which they once conceived in their minds. So not to be long, John, really, that's what it means for me. Thanks.
Thank you for those. As we ask you what you do to give yourself some luck or make you feel that luck is coming your way, where preparedness meets opportunity. I would add good fortune to that as well, because timing comes into it too. 14 minutes past 4. Let's find out what's happening out in the traffic.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by Bridgestone Tires, prepared to perform whatever the terrain. Delays in the south getting out of the city, and it's all jamming up in Boysens.
Yeah, heading into the Joburg CBD at this stage, there's an accident scene in Boysens, M1 North near the Crown Interchange, causing more than a 20-minute delay all the way from Xavier Goldreef City area. Also leaving the Joburg CBD, heading towards Germiston, there's an accident scene on the M2 eastbound near Heidelberg Road, causing huge delays from the Crown Interchange. Kelvin We still have about a 30-minute delay on the N3 northbound between London Road and the Bethlehem Change due to an earlier accident, while in Devlin roadworks still causing some delays on the Golden Highway between the N1 and Union Avenue. In the city of Tshwane, expect some delays in Centurion N1 North between Buerta Avenue and Rigel, and in Irene, traffic pressure still approaching the intersection of Nelmapius Drive and Main Road. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Weekdays on the highway, weekends on the trail, in rain, on tar, or halfway up a gravel pass. With the new Bridgestone Jeweler All-Terrain AT002, you don't have to choose. Bridgestone, prepare to perform whatever the terrain.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
Helen Ziller, no surprises, I suppose, to this election. And what difference do you hope to bring to Johannesburg, not having lived in the city for a very long time?
Fire in my belly to stop the rot and to work with a really great team to turn it around. I concede a massively bloated administration, but for the budget, the extent and the size of Joburg's and the complexity of Joburg's, I'm going to bring in some real experts to help me analyze exactly where the problems are.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
Traffic is trafficking. The robots aren't AI, but more like an eye roll, and service delivery isn't delivering. But luckily, Take-A-Lot is. Shop anything from beauty and sport to tech and toys at everyday low prices and get it delivered to your door faster than you can get home, even when you take the back roads. A delivery so quick the speed thrills. Halala with no limits, just the open road of happiness before you. Take-A-Lot, happy delivered.
People are talking, everybody's talking, and they're saying it's time to make insurance great again. They said our low premiums were fake news. Wrong. We're putting customers first. We're gonna drain the insurance swamp. It's full of hidden fees. But when we clean it up, believe me, it's gonna be huge.
This message has absolutely nothing to do with the US government. It's paid for by the King of Insurance, who's making insurance great again. Get a quote now. It'll be the best decision, people are saying, ever. King Price is a licensed FSP. No fake news, just like her insurance.
Every day, most of us spend an hour in the food aisle, stressing about what to make for dinner. That's 29,200 hours of your life spent shopping and deliberating over what's for dinner. Why not trade that internal drama for watching a little on-screen drama? Or whatever else you want to do. And let You Cook handle dinner. Delivered, prepped, and ready to cook. So, choose You Cook and take back some me time. Visit youcook.co.za to find out how.
Pretoria is buzzing as the world's brightest minds gather. The Department of Science, Technology and Innovation is hosting the third G20 Research and Innovation Working Group and Ministerial meetings on 23 September. Tune in to 702 as Clement Manyatela brings you all the action live tomorrow. Catch groundbreaking discussions, bold innovations, and ideas that will drive sustainable development. From science breakthroughs and technology trends to innovations shaping our future, it's inspiring insights all round. The G20 Research and Innovation Working Group and Ministerial Meetings, 23 September on 702.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
702 Driver. Well, if you missed it, we really had a very, very interesting interview indeed with Dr. Ross Tucker down in Cape Town. We were talking to him about the enhanced games. Now, I'd read about it before, didn't pay much attention to it. And then the news that bronze medalist, although investigated subsequently for drug-related offenses, Fred Curley of the United States, says he's going to run. And if he can break drug-enhanced, produce a drug-enhanced performance and breaks Usain Bolt's world record, which still stands of 9.58. For the 100 meters, he'll win $1 million. So real circus taking shape there, but also raising some very interesting questions about sport and fairness and ethics. If you missed it, Ross Tucker's interview with us, you can pick it up on primemediaplus.com. 20 minutes past 4.
Drive Home with John Perlman
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
Right, let's get our teeth into what happened at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry today, and welcome to the show our EWN colleague, Oren Singh. Oren, a very good afternoon to you. The bit I'm struggling to make sense of, or the thread, and you obviously watched it beginning to end, and you've got a much more detailed sense of it than I do. But here's what puzzles me. On the one hand, you've got the Commissioner of Police. He is, as I understand it, the most senior police person in the South African Police Service. He says he gets an instruction, or they get an instruction, to disband the political killings task team, which Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi has said was an instruction for nefarious intentions. But he agrees that the minister had no legal right to do this, and yet he doesn't seem to have felt he was able to not only stop it happening, but to say, no, sorry, we're not doing that. Did he explain that? Because if he did, I missed it.
Afternoon, John. I think Fani Masimola, the National Police Commissioner, contradicted himself in that regard. And that was something that was picked up on by the Commission Chair, Justice Mbuyiseli Madlanga, and he probed him and pushed him to kind of expand on that topic, because very early on in his testimony today, we heard that should the Minister of Police issue an instruction, such as he did with the disbandment of the political killings task team, would he comply with that instruction if he deemed it unlawful? And we heard Fani Masimola saying he would not obey such an instruction. But later on, and as we know, he kind of played into the hands of Senzo Mkunu's instruction to say, I will provide you with a progress report on the disbandment of the team. So directly saying that while I wouldn't comply with such an instruction, as I deem it unlawful, I'm still going to assist you in providing you with a progress report into where we are in disbanding this team, what he deems as a winding down of the complement of that political killings task team. So very contradictory in his testimony today, and something that didn't bode well with the commissioners here today, who kind of pressed him on that. But in one breath, you're saying it's unlawful and you won't abide by it. And the other breath, you're saying that you did abide by it by assisting to provide a progress report into the disbandment.
What has he been saying about his Deputy General Shadrach Sibiya and the role that he was playing? Because again, it does raise the same question for me, but I'll ask it again. Shadrach Sibiya reports to him, not the other way around.
That's correct. That's correct, John. And I think, obviously, yet again, a narrative is being pushed. Allegations are being put up in the air without enough sort of evidence at our disposal, saying that Shadrach Sibiya has got links through a source that he's heard has got links to tenderpreneur underworld figure Vusi Cat Matlala. And these, yet again, John, we heard it last week during Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi's testimony, that 3-day testimony, a lot of allegations surfacing, and yet the evidence hasn't been put on the table. But with that said, I don't think we can put it to the two people who have testified at the commission thus far, in that of Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi and Fani Masimola, because when we look at the table where they're sitting giving their testimony, they are sitting with hundreds and hundreds of pages of annexures, which are essentially evidence that they're providing and referring to during their testimony given to the commission. So our question is, when is the commission going to allow the media access to that evidence? Because this is evidence and annexures that we need to study, that we need to go through and align it to what's being said and put out there to the public at this commission, and see if it actually aligns to each other in terms of what they're saying versus what is on paper. So a lot needs to be looked at when it comes to the evidence, and yet the commission are unable to give us media answers as to when we're going to be able to get access to these files, which is an integral part of looking at the story, looking at the allegations, and unpacking it, John.
So can I just ask this? I mean, it sounds like an obvious question. At the end of all of this, do we know, does the political killings task team, did it stop working altogether? Did it wind down and do less work? Did it stop investigating certain cases but carry on with others? I mean, because it really is quite confusing to me.
As it stands, John, the Political Killings Task Team are continuing with their work.
Yes.
What Fani Masimola told us today is that when the instruction was issued for their disbandment, he took the decision to ensure that they continue with their work, but that they would not take on any more case dockets. So they were sitting with 612 case dockets at the time of the disbandment instruction, and they would not be taking on any more case dockets. But he also looked at the winding down of this team.
Right.
And this was a presentation presented to the Minister of Police, Senzo Mkunu, on the 6th of March, the day after they appeared in Parliament. And that sort of winding down pertains to the strength of the Political Killings Task Team. At their full capacity, they had 98 members strong. This includes detectives, forensic analysis or analysts, prosecution teams, and so forth. And they brought this down to about 63. So they kind of took away 35-odd personnel from the task team and deployed them to other units. But there's still 63 members remaining within that task team, and they're still operating as it stands.
Thanks so much, Oren Singh. He's been covering the Madlanga Commission for us, as doubtless I'm sure you've heard over the past few days and over many news bulletins and interviews. After 5, we'll dig into this a little bit more deeply with analyst Willem Els. That's coming up at about 5:15.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
Tata Morero, when were you expecting to construct this new pipeline, the one that's been constructed this morning by Joburg Water? I mean, did it have to take the residents to protest for 2 weeks?
There's no project that has to start as a result of the protest. In 2025, this year in June, we set aside in our budget 800 million that we're investing in the area. Also building a reservoir there, which will be concluded and handed over end of October.
Clements Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
Joburg, mark your calendars. The Music and Lifestyle Expo 2025 is back on 14 and 15 November at the Sandton Convention Centre. Experience a world where music, trade, fashion, food and lifestyle collide, all under one roof. From engaging masterclasses and a vibrant exhibition floor featuring fine wines, crafts and lifestyle brands to unforgettable live performances by Dr. Jonathan Butler, Lira, Tandiswa Mazwai, Ringo, Major League DJs and more. This is one expo you can't miss. Tickets available now at ticketpro.co.za. Proudly endorsed by the G20 Summit.
Naked people never skip leg day. Because naked people spend less time on insurance admin, they've got more time for lunges and Romanian deadlifts. With Naked, you can cover your car, home, and stuff in seconds. And it's all online, so that means no long phone calls. Go to naked.insure now, get a car insurance quote in 90 seconds, and start working out. Like naked people. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
Hola Mzansi, Dr. Kumalu here. The first official Bafana Bafana game is now live at 10bet. With Bafana Megaways from 10bet, everyone can play for Bafana Bafana. Join now at 10bet.co.za.
10bet is a licensed betting operator and supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 shall be permitted to bet. Betting can be addictive. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710. License number 921096661.
EWN Business.
Right, let's get the very latest. Welcome back, Stephen Krutis. What's happening on the market?
John, thank you. Good afternoon to you. Well, another record gold price. It seems like I haven't been away. The rand's been strengthening against the dollar while I've been gone too. But the JSE All Share this afternoon flat at 106,113 points. Financials down 1.25% in. Industrials down 0.86%, and then resources, largely, of course, because of the gold price, up by over 2.6%. Harmony are up nearly 10%. Sibanye are up 4.57%. DLD Gold Fields, all up by over 4%. Exactly what you'd expect, John, when the gold price goes past $3,700 an ounce. Bit of a tough day for Sasol. They're down nearly 9%. 91 down 3.88%. And then Telkom is down 3.65%. Kunul Plus, former formally taking operational control of MultiChoice today. The deal, as you know, has been years in the making. Essentially now, the group will go ahead. The Canal Plus say they'll spend the next few months organising a strategic review for MultiChoice. Has been losing subscribers over the next few years. We'll hear more about that on The Money Show. We'll speak to the CEO at Canal Plus. Also, peace breaking out between the helium group Renogen and the solar group Solar Power Plant near Springbok in the Northern Cape. They'd been arguing about the use of a particular sector of land. They've now worked out a plan that will allow the extraction of natural gas, while the Springbok solar project will be able to continue to generate electricity from the same piece of land. In the US, markets opened down. There were record highs on Friday again, John, but that's also because of the uncertainty created by the decision by the US President Donald Trump to impose a $100,000 application fee on the H-1B1 visa. I mean, some of the stories of people having to get off aeroplanes because they didn't know what was going to happen, they're quite extraordinary. That's pushed markets down. The Dow Jones is down 0.21. The NASDAQ, including tech companies that would be affected by that decision, they're up 0.11%, and the S&P 500 are down 0.05. The gold price, a new record, $3,721.19 an ounce. Platinum, $1,405.04, and Brent crude, $66.19. The rand, 17.35 to the dollar, 20.41 to the euro, 23.41 to the British pound. Stephen Krutis, EWN Business.
Right, let's get back to the news desk. Let's get back to Maki Molapo, who has the latest. Good afternoon.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola claims some councillors in KwaZulu-Natal staged assassination attempts on themselves to secure bodyguards from their municipalities. A significant portion of Masemola's testimony at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry in Pretoria today focused on the political killings task team and Police Minister Senzo Mkunu's efforts to disband it. The unit has been at the centre of allegations by KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, suggesting that Mkunu sought to dissolve it to protect criminal elements. Masemola says although the task team was effective in investigating the murders of politicians in the province, there were multiple attempts to exploit it by politicians.
Councillors will go as far as getting into their cars and say somebody must shoot, but just make sure you shoot just on the shoe, don't shoot too deep on the bone. But when investigations at later stage, some they will then confess that, no. I wanted to make sure that I get a budget from municipality for protection.
For live updates on the Commission, visit ewn.co.za or watch live proceedings on our YouTube channel. The Gauteng Social Development Department has confirmed that an abandoned toddler who was allegedly denied help by a child welfare centre in Ekurhuleni is receiving palliative care. This after the non-profit coalition of organisations, Baby Savers South Africa, released a statement condemning the department. It's alleged the 20-month-old was denied help after being abandoned at a baby box at Tree of Hope last month due to an ongoing battle over the legality of baby boxes. The department says it will investigate whether there was any misconduct when baby Nandi was allegedly denied help by the Edenvale Child Welfare. Director for Children's Services, Yvonne Dionaran.
But when we learned of it, we also learned that baby Nandi is in a registered and funded palliative care facility funded by the Department of Health. We also learned that baby Nandi is receiving all the medical care that she requires in the palliative care facility.
Meanwhile, member of Tree of Hope Baby Saver, Lani Leroux, says baby Nandi wouldn't have been in the state she's in if she received help earlier.
And it seems like her sudden deterioration was very bad, and that we can't, it can't be turned over or stopped, or that surgery is going to make a difference at all. So I think surgery is off the table for now. Our little girl suffered because of a directive that DSD gave.
The Western Cape Infrastructure Department says it has identified more than 1,800 hectares of land to build affordable homes for residents of the province. This was revealed during a written reply to a DA parliamentary question. The department says this includes 303 hectares of provincial government-owned land and more than 1,500 hectares of national government-owned land. From provincial land, nearly 17,500 housing opportunities have been earmarked in areas such as Blue Downs, Bella, Sea Point and Cape Town CBD, among others. The department says it's waiting on national government to release identified land to develop housing projects in areas including Caledon, Grabo, Saldanha, Malmesbury and Vredenburg. The DA's Dirk Wessels says the party welcomes the steps taken by the department to unlock land for housing.
The identification of more than 1,896 hectares of land shows the Western Cape's government commitment to tackling this housing backlog. But unless national government stops dragging its feet and releases the land on time, residents will continue to pay the price for delays. We call on this national government to fast-track approvals so that this land can be developed.
And the Lebanese Health Ministry says at least 5 people have been killed in an Israeli drone strike on southern Lebanon, including 3 children, with the president denouncing it as a massacre. The state-run national news agency reported that the strike had targeted a motorcycle. The Israeli military later said it had struck and eliminated a Hezbollah terrorist. Israel launches frequent strikes inside Lebanon, saying it is targeting Hezbollah despite a November ceasefire meant to end more than a year of hostilities between them. A look at your weather. Partly cloudy skies in store for Gauteng tomorrow, along with isolated showers and thunder showers expected. Temperatures will drop to overnight lows between 11 and 14 degrees and peak at highs between 30 and 32 degrees.
Heading into the Joburg CBD, accident scene in Boysons on the M1 North near the Crown Interchange, causing more than a 30-minute delay. Kelvin also expect about a 30-minute delay on the N3 northbound from London Road all the way to the Butlu Interchange due to an earlier accident. Centurion also about a 30-minute delay on the N1 northbound from Buerta Avenue all the way to Rigel due to an accident.
The top story in Eyewitness News. National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola claims some councillors in KwaZulu-Natal staged assassination attempts on themselves to secure bodyguards from their municipalities.
Let's count backward. 5. Insurance. 4. Pineapple. 3. Insurance. 2. Pineapple. 1. You're under. Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP.
Save more on the brands you love at Dis-Chem. Stay fresh and confident all day with 2+1 cheapest free on any 150ml Shield deodorants and 50ml roll-ons. And treat your hair with our fantastic 2+1 cheapest free on any Tresemme hair care products. Plus, enjoy 2+1 cheapest free on any Lifebuoy products. T's and C's apply. Don't miss out. Offers valid until 19 October. Only at Dis-Chem. Better health starts here.
Dreaming of a tropical escape? World Leisure Holidays has your ticket to paradise with exclusive getaways to the Indian Ocean Islands. From the beaches of Mauritius and the Maldives to the charm of Madagascar, Seychelles, Zanzibar and more, your dream destination awaits. Take advantage of early bird specials and pay stay offers. Call 011-285-2500 and mention 702 for a mystery discount. Or follow us on social media or contact your nearest travel professional. Start planning your escape today. T's and C's apply.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
A very good afternoon to you, John. Lovely show as always. Khalaboy here from Four Ways. John, luck is a mystical energy that dances around the universe, randomly bestowing people with satisfaction and joy. So you create your own luck. And how you create your own luck? You stay ready. That's my 2 cents about luck. Lovely show, John, as always. And what's up to everyone in the studio? And thank you for keeping us going. Lovely one. Cheers, bye-bye.
702 Drive, what do you do to bring yourself luck? Still time to take a few of your thoughts on that. 21 minutes to 5 o'clock. Time to catch up with the latest in sport.
EWN Sport.
South Africa's women cricketers in Lahore up against Pakistan. Tola Kele with the very latest on that. Good afternoon.
Afternoon, John. Well, South Africa are on the verge of defeat in that third ODI against Pakistan women because the hosts are currently at the crease on 113 for the loss of 4, needing just 3 more runs from 19.4 overs for victory. Earlier in the day, Captain Lara Waldvad had top scored with just 28 as the Proteas women were bowled out for 115 in the 26th over. Switching to the men's game, where a calf injury has ruled Captain Themba Bavuma out of the Test series against Pakistan next month, while Quinton de Kock has made himself available again for the ODIs. Having not played for the national team in any format since the 2024 T20 World Cup final, Coach Shukri Conrad insists it doesn't set a bad precedent for other players to come back on their own terms.
The question to Quinny was, why would you like to come back? Are you committing to all formats? So it's not just with the T20 World Cup around the corner. The guy's committed to play all formats for South Africa, however we choose to use him. It doesn't leave the door open for anything. All it does leave the door open for is for players that want to play for South Africa.
The South African Football Players Union has slammed Siwelele for what they regard as their disrespectful and reckless behaviour towards the contracts of professionals in local football. On Sunday, their chairman Calvin Lejohn announced the departure of experienced administrator Stan Matthews, along with assistant coach Andre Aronsa, while several players have also been released.
They have been very great men to work with, but I cannot in good conscience keep them on board when their lives and their families' lives are being threatened on a daily basis. We are also going to terminate the contracts of various players who have not shown the heart and the willingness to fight for this team.
Kaizer Chiefs have been handed a tricky draw in the Carling knockout round of 16 after being paired with Stellenbosch. Orlando Pirates will begin their campaign at home against Siwelele, while Mamelodi Sundowns welcome Marumo Gallants. For Magesi, they'll begin their title defence against Amazulu. And switching over to the Premier League, where Manchester United head coach Ruben Amorim has paid tribute to Bruno Fernandes. That's after the midfielder scored his 100th goal for the club. The 31-year-old continues to be United's talisman in their hour of need and scored a goal as they beat Chelsea 2-1 in a game which saw both sides reduced to 10 men.
The most important thing is the influence that he has on the squad. Sometimes he's not in the best position to be the main man in every game, but the point, especially of the captain, is to be the best he can be in every situation to help the team to be better. And he's doing that. I think he can play better, but everyone can play better in our team. But it's really important. You can change in position. We can give different things to the team.
Tola Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
At 18 minutes to 5, this EWN Traffic is brought to you by the Mpumalanga Tourism and Parks Agency. Mpumalanga, the place of the rising sun. Karabo, what's happening on the roads, please?
Well, at this stage in the Centurion area, you can still expect about a 30-minute delay. N1 North between Buerta Avenue and Rigel. This is due to an earlier accident. Irene, traffic pressure approaching the intersection of Namapius Drive and Main Road. While if you're heading into the Joburg CBD, there's an accident scene in Boysens, M1 North, near the Crown Interchange, also causing about a 30-minute delay. Calvin, also expect about a 30-minute delay on the N3 northbound. That's heading towards Midrand between London Road and the Batlu Interchange due to an earlier accident. And in Protea Glen, slow-moving traffic on the R559. That's opposite GOG Gardens. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Explore the wonders of Mpumalanga. Discover the ultimate wildlife experience that brings you closer to nature. Get your adrenaline rush with endless adventure activities. Explore breathtaking 4x4 routes or hike the Blader River Canyon, the third largest in the world. Unwind with spectacular landscapes and majestic waterfalls. Make Mpumalanga your destination of choice. Mpumalanga, embrace the unknown, live the adventure. This message is brought to you by the Mpumalanga Tourism and Parks Agency. Mpumalanga, the place of the rising sun. Visit mpumalanga.com for more information.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
We were talking about jobs the other day and about jobs we've had, particularly part-time ones, and what this has kind of showed us about people and how people can be. So the question I wanted to ask is, what job have you done or maybe still do that has showed you the worst in people? And what job have you done that has showed you the very best in people? And the intriguing thing for me is it could be the same job. It just might be different interactions and different days. But Tolakele, in your interesting life, what have you come across work-wise that has made you think, oh, people can be awful?
It's not a job I get paid for, but anytime I'm serving on any sort of like committee or association, I always realize that people think they are the only ones that get impacted by that. And because they think that this whole thing is just to serve them, they always make all of these unreasonable demands where sometimes you have to say to someone, hey, for the collective good, what you personally may need may not work for all of us. So we have to think about the bigger picture. But it's also shown me the greatness in some people where they're willing to say, you know what, I don't have a lot, but I will volunteer my time. And I always feel like giving your time is probably like the hardest thing, because it's very easy for you to be like, not my monkey, not my circus. So in those committees where people give their time and are willing to just put aside their own life for just an hour or two of serving, love it.
Okay, so Karabo, have you had a job where you've seen things about people that you haven't particularly liked to witness?
Most definitely. I worked as a waiter, and I had the best of both worlds, I must say. You'll get really mean customers who just, you make a small mistake and they make a big deal out of it, and then at the end of the day, they don't tip you, they make drama, call the manager. And then you get really understanding customers who like, you know what, you're human, mistakes do happen, and they end up giving you a tip anyway because, you know, they see the effort that you put in.
Yeah. So waiting, I mean, one of the strangest experiences I had, I was living in London and I worked as a waiter serving champagne and snacks at a really, really fancy party. It was, you know, the host was a merchant banker and a lot of his friends and colleagues were there. And what I found amazing was the things people spoke about with me nearby. As if, you know, I didn't have ears or whatever. Not that I was sort of leaning and saying, well, that sounds interesting. I was moving around, pouring large amounts of bubbly. But the host was great and really friendly. Some of the people there, not so nice. Very, very offhand. So jobs that you've done, please give us a call on 011 883 0702 and 072 702 1702. Garnet says, hi, I'm a teacher. I've seen the best in my learners, their parents and departmental officials, and I have also seen the worst in them, presumably all of them. So the question again, if you've just joined us or didn't quite get it, jobs that you've done or jobs that you do that have shown you the very best side of people and also the very worst. Your stories, please. Your insights, please, on 072 702 1702.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
At 12 minutes to 5, the B20 in brief is brought to you by Standard Bank, where Africa's voice meets the world stage. Today we're going to look at another aspect of the B20, that's the business arm, wing aspect, whatever you want to call it, of the G20 in the year that South Africa is hosting this all-important gathering. Now, one of the things that the B20, which brings together thinkers and practitioners in the world of business and the economy in general, is that they created a number of task forces, and one of them was tasked with looking at digital transformation. An issue right at the center of all of this is what kind of ethical and legal regulatory framework will govern the spread of AI across the countries in the G20 and I think by implication across the world. Professor Anne Verhoef is a professor in philosophy at Northwest University and the director of the NWU AI Hub. Prof, welcome and thanks very much for giving us your time. Regulating technology has been, it seems to me, notoriously difficult. What kind of things might we do in regard to AI when the, for example, push for competitive advantage has a pot of gold at the end of it?
Yes, thank you, John. Yes, to regulate AI is extremely important on the one hand, but of course we also have to do it with, I think, in a really balanced way. We've seen in Europe, for example, they try to regulate AI in all aspects, on all and everywhere in society, and at this stage they over-regulate it, which sort of hampered the innovation in Europe. While in the East, I've been in Singapore at the AI conference last year, they're really embracing it and see how it can benefit innovation.
In terms of what gatherings like the B20 can actually achieve, I mean, can it go beyond a set of good ideas and sort of broad generalities that people agree on to actually take the form of regulation, or are we likely to kind of see every country sort of do their own thing?
No, I think the B20 should, that there are many things, let me say that, many issues they should attend to, and I think it's good that South Africa would also learn from the B20 what to regulate or not in terms of AI, because there are things like privacy, security, the data, and that quickly goes wrong on an ethical level if there are surveillance taking place or profiling taking place of people. So, yeah, regulation is really needed. So hopefully the B20 will help us to align globally what is ethical and what is responsible in terms of our AI use in South Africa.
What are the kind of trends that you're seeing at the AI Hub, Prof? And in particular, in terms of countries that are getting their AI development, but also their regulatory framework on the right track, even if it's presumably not 100% done and dusted. Any models we could and should be looking at?
Yes, that's difficult because I think the whole world is still struggling to get it right. But my feeling is, and I've been at various conferences globally, is in America the focus is really on how to make money from AI. And we see that through the AI tools they put on the market. The tools are normally really ideologically driven to keep and to cater for a certain audience. We can, for example, ask Grok about Donald Trump and it will give you certain answers, and the other AI tool will give a completely different answer. So behind these sort of tools are all capitalist motivations that manipulate the truths to an extent that it becomes really misleading. It often gives misinformation. And I think that's not the direction, of course, that South Africa should go. On the other hand, I think just to regulate everything, as I said, is also not the answer. So, we need to use AI critically. I think that is the sort of golden middle where we should find ourselves, that we are always skeptical about what's presented.
So, Prof, one of the other issues, particularly in a multilingual country like ours, is there is a fear that AI is being driven. The models are working very much with inputs mainly in English, but presumably given the lead that China seems to be taking in many aspects of AI in Mandarin or other languages used in China. Are you guys at NWU looking at issues of multilingualism in this regard?
Yes, so the NWU has a unit CTEX, they call it, where we're looking at developing large language models for different African languages. But the data, and that is a problem all over, the data is really an issue. Even in Afrikaans, which is an established language with a lot of written text, we don't have enough data to develop these large language models. I know also University of Pretoria and other universities are working on these type of language models, but it will take a lot of years to really have a good AI platform for an African language.
And just finally, Prof, since you're a professor in philosophy, I'm sure that you have some thoughts about AI as a pedagogical tool. I would imagine at the center, at the hub, colleagues are coming to you and saying, listen, what do we do about essays and stuff against which students are being graded? I mean, overall, philosophically, if I can put it to you that way, Is this a good thing? I know it's an unstoppable force.
Yeah, so it's really challenging education fundamentally. You must remember generative AI. Gen AI is generating stuff now that only humans could generate, like text or music or those sort of things. But now, and we structure the education system to teach children how to write and read and be creative. But now suddenly we're so challenged because AI can generate it, and we see students are taking shortcuts, just producing AI text if they're supposed to write their own essays or assignments. We struggle a lot with academic integrity at universities globally. So a lot of training is taking place to see how we can really harness the potential of AI, because on the one hand, it's really a risk in the education sector and challenge us, but on the other hand, there's really a lot of potential to explore.
Thank you so much, Professor Anne Verhoef, Professor in Philosophy and Director at the Northwest University of that university's AI Hub. Yeah, very, very interesting stuff there indeed. And by the way, if AI is starting to have an impact on the work that you do, perhaps you're a teacher, maybe you're a lecturer at the university of this or the lecturer or the university of that, anywhere here or anywhere in the world, because I know there are people. How are you guys dealing with AI and what you feel students should be doing to get credits and grades and advance in the studies they're doing? Call us with that. At the heart of global conversations shaping the future, Africa's voice matters more than ever. As Africa's largest bank by assets and lead sponsor of the B20 Summit, Standard Bank Group is proud to spotlight the continent's growth, partnerships and potential on the world stage. Through informed dialogue and powerful partnerships, Standard Bank is driving sustainable growth where it matters most. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
Helen Zille, no surprises, I suppose, to this election. And what difference do you hope to bring to Johannesburg, not having lived in the city for a very long time?
Fire in my belly to stop the rot and to work with a really great team to turn it around. I concede a massively bloated administration, but for the budget, the extent and the size of Joburg's and the complexity of Joburg's, I'm going to bring in some real experts to help me analyze exactly where the problems are.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
Don't miss the Incredible Structures exhibition at the Johannesburg Contemporary Art Foundation. Discover striking works from leading artists. Entry is free. Book online now at jcaf.org.za.
Life has its own rhythm, but muscle and joint pain may upset the beat.
Noflex Gel.
Trust Noflex Gel's triple action formula to target muscle pain, reduce inflammation, and help numb the affected area.
Noflex Gel.
So, get your beat back and reclaim the rhythm of life.
Noflex Gel.
Beat the pain with Noflex Gel and higher strength Noflex Gel Fort. For more information, speak to your healthcare professional.
The team's on a roll today. Let me focus on payroll. Duty calls in the kitchen. That's why I have a business insurer that is agile and on the ball all the time on all things. I chose My Way Business Insurance, getting 24/7 emergency service and saving on my premiums, plus my business assist to handle my admin.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's and standard rates apply. My Way. Live your way.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Good afternoon, John. This is Madla from Joburg. John, I once worked for another security company at Northgate Mall when Northgate was opening. And no one knew where what shop was, because Northgate is big. So one lady came and asked for the shop. Then I said, ma'am, I really do not have an idea because they've just opened. Then she said, stupid security, and she left. So now I said, rather than being called a stupid security, everyone who asks for a shop, the direction that he or she is facing, I'll tell her to go down and look left or right, find the shop, and I'll disappear from the spot. But I'll be watching, I'll see them coming back, but I'll be somewhere watching because I've been called a stupid. So that was my solution, Joy.
702 Drive. The question I asked is jobs that brought you in touch with either the very best in people or the very worst, and it might be in the same job and even on the same day. Give us a call on that on 011 883 0702 and 072 702 1702. Still to come on 702 Drive, lots of really interesting insights into police culture at the leadership level coming out of the Madlanga Commission. We had a chat earlier to Oren Singh about what appeared to be confusing and I think some fairly contradictory things said by Commissioner Fani Masemola today. But what is it about the South African Police Service over the last many years now, it would seem, that has made it difficult for them to push back against political interference? We'll get the view of analyst Willem Els. That's coming up at about 10 past 5. Right now, it's 5 o'clock.
This is EWN.
National Police Commissioner Masemola's testimony at police inquiry baffles commissioners, and Operation Dudula reiterates its commitment to prevent undocumented foreign nationals from public healthcare facilities. Good afternoon, I'm Maki Malapo. National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola has had holes poked in his testimony as his contradictory statements left members of the Madlanga Commission baffled. Masemola concluded his testimony for the day as the second witness at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, sitting at the Bridget Mabandla Justice College in Pretoria today. But it was his stance on the instruction to disband the political killings task team issued by Police Minister Senzo Mchunu in December that left the commissioners questioning how he processed the instruction. Oren Singh has more.
Very early in his testimony, National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola emphasized he wouldn't comply with an instruction from Police Minister Senzo Mchunu if he deemed it unlawful, such as the directive to immediately disband the KZN Political Killings Task Team. But later, Masemola confirmed he complied with Mchunu's directive to provide a progress report into the disbandment of the team.
I had no alternative left but to say, well, if ever it has to go your way of disbandment, in other words, I'm giving in, but not in his approach, but on my approach.
Commission Chair Justice Mbuyiseli Madlanga was confused by Masemola's fence-sitting approach of providing a progress report on the winding down of the functions of the task team.
Why do you now suddenly talk the language of winding down?
Masemola will conclude his testimony tomorrow morning. Oren Singh, Eyewitness News, Pretoria.
For live updates on the Commission, visit ewn.co.za or watch live proceedings on our YouTube channel. In KwaZulu-Natal, the family of slain former Richmond municipal manager Busisiso Sithole says despite the imminent sentencing of the man convicted of killing him, they still want to know who the mastermind behind his killing is. The Durban High Court is set to hand down the sentence of convicted murderer Sabelo Phewa tomorrow. Phewa was convicted for 2 murders, including that of the former manager Amos Ngobo, who were both shot and killed in February 2024. He was also convicted of the attempted murder of a police officer as well as firearms and ammunition-related charges. Nhlanhla Mabaso has more.
It's been 8 years since Busisiso Sithole was killed. His family says it's been difficult to find closure, not knowing the motive behind his murder. They say the family, including his wife and children's lives, have forever changed. His brother, Mluleki Sithole.
I cannot lie, dear my sister. It's been very hard since our brothers has left us. We've been struggling.
His sister, Sibongile Hlatshwayo Sithole.
He wasn't just a breadwinner who had financed so many kids at school. Some of them had to drop out of school, left his own kids who also couldn't be funded to go to school anymore. So many things just went wrong from that moment he left our lives.
And while the Durban High Court will tomorrow sentence Sabelo Phewa, the family remains hopeful the mastermind will get nabbed. Nhlanhla Mabaso, Eyewitness News, Durban.
Operation Dudula says it has no plans on tampering down its unlawful exercise of preventing what they say are undocumented foreign nationals from accessing public healthcare facilities. This is despite a passionate plea to the organization by Gauteng Health MEC Nomantunko Muralehoko following the death of a 1-year-old. The child died after his Malawian mother, Grace Banda, was allegedly prevented by Operation Dudula members from accessing the Alexandra Clinic in Johannesburg last week. Tabiso Goba has more.
I just say to all those that are blocking access to the institutions, can they think about their children that are going to die like this one that the journalist is asking me about now, which I am unable even to answer. How will I feel if it was my grandchild?
That was the plea made by Gauteng Health MEC Nomantunko Muralehoko. However, speaking in Soweto today, Operation Dudula's leader Zandile Tabula says the organization will not stop.
We're not tempering down, we're not backing down, we are continuing with our operations. The allegations and all that, they will be discussed in the courts and all that, but we will continue with our operations.
Tabula has welcomed the police investigations into the death of the 1-year-old child and says the law must run its course. Tabiso Goba, Eyewitness News.
The National Health Laboratory Service says it has lost more than 70% of its pathologists to the private sector over better pay over the last 5 years. This comes as the service grapples with a case backlog of almost 14,000, with some samples still untouched while others have been tested but rather need a final sign-off from pathologists. During a DA visit to the Charlotte Maxeke Hospital in Johannesburg today, the laboratory service revealed that each pathologist deals with about 40 cases per day out of the 4,000 cases it receives per month. The visit comes after the service denied it had a backlog with biopsy sample testing. However, NHLS Executive Manager Elias Skaparides says the shortage of pathologists has contributed to the backlog.
To train a registrar takes 4 years, preparing them for Part 1 and Part 2 exams, supervising their research. And at the end of the 4 years, the NHLS proactively recruit these registrars in order to retain them. But what we have found is that 60 to 80% of the registrars who take up appointments as pathologists leave for the private sector within their first year. And so we continue to advertise our 17 posts.
And Parliament says it will only consider the adjustments budget for final approval by the National Assembly in the new year. Eyewitness News erroneously reported earlier today that the medium-term budget policy statement will only be tabled by the Finance Minister next year. However, Minister Enoch Godongwana is still expected to present the mini-budget to the House on the 12th of November as previously decided. The National Treasury says it's hard at work conducting the necessary engagements and preparations for the tabling of the mid-year budget. Lindsay Tentlinger has more.
Last week, Speaker Toko Didiza told the National Assembly's Programme Committee that the legislature did not want to rush or compromise its processes and therefore had proposed to the Finance Minister that the adjustments budget only be adopted in the new year. The National Assembly is due to rise for the end-of-year break on the 12th of December, which would not allow it sufficient time to complete the budgetary cycle. Parliament says the later tabling of the medium-term budget is the knock-on effect of the national budget itself having been tabled several months later than usual. Speaker Toko Didiza.
Circumstances around which we found ourselves in on the first budget this year was extraordinary, and I'm sure we will try and make sure that going forward we do not find ourselves in that situation.
The House is expected to adopt the revised fiscal framework on the 27th of November, followed by several of the related money bills in December before the House rises. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
Gold's trading at $3,724.80 an ounce. The rand's at 17.34 to the dollar, at 23.40 to the pound, at 20.41 to the euro. Brent crude oil's at $66.19 a barrel.
Centurion, you can still expect about a 30-minute delay on the N1 northbound between Botha Avenue and Rigel due to an earlier accident. Also heading into the Joburg CBD, there's an accident seen in Boysens on the M1 northbound near the Crown interchange, also causing about a 30-minute delay. And in Nooitgesig, traveling towards Soweto, traffic sluggish on the N17 westbound from the N1 all the way to the Soweto highway.
In your sport, Proteas women suffer 6-wicket defeat to Pakistan in the third ODI. Usman Dembele tipped to win the Ballon d'Or tonight. And Christian Horner leaves Red Bull after reported £80 million payoff. A look at your weather. Partly cloudy skies in store for Gauteng tomorrow, along with isolated showers and thunder showers expected. Joburg will drop to overnight lows of 11 degrees, peaking at highs of 30. Pretoria is at 14 and 32. Vereeniging's at 12 and 31 degrees. The top story in Eyewitness News this hour: National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola has had holes poked in his testimony as his contradictory statements left members of the Madlanga Commission baffled.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
7:02.
Drive home with John Perlman.
John Perlman, 3 to 6 p.m.
On 92.7 and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
7:02 Drive, it's 10 minutes past 5. How's the first day of the working week gone for you? Hope it's gone well. If you're making your way home, we'll give you traffic updates shortly that will get you home with at least less frustration, even if you do find yourself going a little slower than you would like. Karabo Chale just piecing together the very latest report. Coming up on the show, we're going to focus again on the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. I am still puzzled by certain things said by Police Commissioner Fani Masemola. My understanding is he is the most senior police officer in the South African Police Service, and yet he didn't seem to be able to act with perhaps the degree of certainty and authority that I would have thought the position would convey, particularly on issues around the disbanding of the KwaZulu-Natal Political Killings Task Team. But we'll talk to someone much more in the know than I am about the inner workings of the police and the, I would imagine, often complicated relationship between top cops and the leading politicians in that space. Willem Els joins us from the Institute for Security Studies in 3 or 4 minutes to give us an idea on that. The other thing I wanted to mention and possibly get your inputs on, I understand that on the sidelines of one of the G20 meetings, the Agriculture Working Group, 2 important agreements signed, one with Japan and Brazil. And I'm just wondering, in the aftermath of the new arrangements around tariffs of goods into the United States, agriculture affected, motor industry as well, do you work in a sector where you are already well into implementing Plan B, or do you at least have a clear idea of what Plan B would look like? Because in the aftermath of the US announcements, both the first and the second, a theme that came out was people just saying, we're going to have to find other markets, other ways of looking at forging trade relationships. So if you're in business in any way, shape or form, either as an employee in a company that looks outwards for your markets, or perhaps it's a business you run yourself, give us a call. Are we slowly clawing our way back and finding our feet in a new reality? I'd like to think that is the case, but of course, you know, I don't. Call me, 011 883 0702, 12 minutes past 5.
702. WhatsApp John
On 072
702
1702.
Hi, John and team. Incredible show. An interesting topic too. Flip, yeah. I deal with clients on a daily basis, and I must tell you that as a banker, I've seen the worst of clients, and I've seen the most incredible, down-to-earth clients. And I must say there's a bit of a weird trend here, because the so filthy rich, super humble, friendly people, down-to-earth, and the not so filthy rich clients, goodness me.
Hi, John. On jobs that I've done, I worked for a market research company, and obviously we did data analysis for market research. And I remember this one study where we did for an alcoholic beverage, where you get respondents, give them a taste of different alcohol to see which one is ranked the best. And interestingly, we did a study whereby we utilized the same drink in like 3-4 different cups. So you have a sip, have a cracker, have a sip, have a cracker, and rate which one is the best. And it just went to show that humans are very manipulative in their brains. You're drinking the same thing, but you would drink one, this is better than this one, meanwhile it's the same thing. So it was interesting to know that humans can lie like that. Thank you.
Well, I'd be intrigued to know though, were they lying or were they genuinely confused? Because I remember once, not with any degree of seriousness, I took part in a little wine competition. It was a fundraising thing, and you had to name the varietal of the wine. Was it Chenin Blanc? Was it Sauvignon Blanc, or whatever it was? And I said, I put down on my notes, this one's definitely this and this one's definitely that, only realizing that I just drank 2 glasses of the same thing. So I don't think I was lying. I just think I was confused. 702 Drive, it's 5:15. Let's get out onto the roads. Let's get you home.
EWN Traffic.
This Eyewitness News traffic is brought to you by Outsurance in partnership with 702. Problems in Centurion. Karabo Chale has all the details.
I'm afraid you can still expect about a 30-minute delay. That's in the Centurion area, N1 North. This is between John Foster and Rigel Avenue due to an earlier accident. Also still in Tshwane, Irene, there's a traffic pressure approaching the intersection of Nelmapier's Drive and Main Road. Heading into the Joburg CBD, there's an accident scene in Boyson's M1 North near the Crown interchange, causing about a 30-minute delay. And driving through the Joburg CBD, there's peak hour traffic, M1 South between Killarney Benz and the Crown interchange. On that same route, we've received a report of a smash and grabber near Smith Street. So if you have seen him or unfortunately fell victim to this smash and grabber, please let us know what's the situation. 072, you can WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702. We are also on X at EWN Traffic. Calvin, also expect about a 30-minute delay. That's heading towards Midrand N3 northbound from London Road all the way to the Betlu interchange due to an earlier accident. Traveling into Soweto, traffic is sluggish in Noitgesig N17 westbound. This is from the N1 all the way to the Soweto Highway, and in Protea Glen there's slow-moving traffic R559 opposite GOG Gardens. I'll have your next Eyewitness News traffic update just after 5:30.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
20 years ago, you were driving by that street to get your daily newspaper. And 20 years ago, the Outsurance pointsmen were on the roads, easing traffic congestion. Whether you're an Outsurance client or not, we've all been getting something out. So show the Outsurance pointsmen some love this month and celebrate this 20th anniversary using #pointsmenlove. From Johannesburg, Tshwane and Paul to Stellenbosch, let's celebrate. Outsurance really means it when they say you always get something out. In proud partnership with 702, Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
Tata Morero, when were you expecting to construct this new pipeline, the one that's been constructed this morning by Joburg Water? I mean, did it have to take the residents to protest for 2 weeks?
There's no project that has to start as a result of a protest. In 2025, this year in June, we set aside in our budget 800 million that we're investing in the area. Also building a reservoir there, which will be concluded and handed over end of October.
Clements Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
For over a decade, Aluma Capital has had one simple mission: to help you secure the financial future you deserve. Over the past 10 years, they've empowered thousands of clients with personalized strategies, expert advice, and impressive returns of up to 13.2%. Whether it's growing wealth, securing retirement, or planning for the unexpected, Aluma Capital is there every step of the way. Visit aluma.co.za today. Aluma Capital is a licensed FSP. T's and C's apply.
Josie, my Josie, a city made of swag, passion, and resilience. Over here, we rise with the sun. Namateksi. We are a city of doers, creators, and believers. When we unite, yonke into iyahlangana. From corner offices to corner veggie stalls or corner pre-chat and receipt. Josie, my Josie. A city where even those who were not born here are made here. Yabona la, citizenship is awarded to the curious. There's magic and beauty in our city. So we call on everyone to come experience it. Babiza bonke to come see Josie and all its people. Because this city is all of us. Come witness our citizens do it. Babiza bonke to come see the actions of the invisibles. Those building our city from the ground up. So we have a home we can all proudly call Josie, my Josie. Visit josiemyjosie.com to see how Josie does it.
Business Outsurance are experts in business insurance for pharmacies, convenience stores, beauty salons, and more. Corney?
Business Outsurance is definitely the best insurance for my business. Bowled out every other insurance house. Honestly, looking at what you need, my installment came down within a day. Definitely the most professional.
Switch to Business Outsurance and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. Visit outsurance.co.za. Switch and save today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
702 and corporates that care with Tracker are talking about Tracker's partnership with Matthew, an initiative helping South Africa's future leaders succeed in maths and science.
We have been part of this incredible country for the last 29 years. South Africa has helped us grow into the organisation that we are and has helped us be part of the economy of this country. So fundamentally, we now have to give back. We have to make sure that not just for the last 29 years, but for the future 29 years, we're participating in that conversation. Secondly, Bongani, Tracker is growing exponentially at the moment. We're employing at all levels within the organisation, from top to bottom in essence. So what we're actually looking for as part of that growth fundamental is to make sure that we have the right people coming into the organisation. We can either be part of the solution or we can be part of the problem or do nothing.
Tracker, protecting futures by investing in STEM education. Visit matthew.co.za to learn more. 702, let's walk the talk. You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
21 minutes past 5. Let's focus our attention on the start of a new week at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, and the start of a new week has seen the beginning of testimony from a new witness, the Commissioner of Police, Fani Masemola. Lots of questions arising out of what he had to say and the answers he gave to questions that were put to him by, amongst others, the head of the Commission, Justice Madlanga. Willem Els is an analyst of these things. He's senior training coordinator of the in the ENACT program at the Institute for Security Studies, joining us on the line from Pretoria. Mr. Els, welcome, and thanks very much for giving us your time today. I wanted to ask you this. I was surprised at what Commissioner General Masemola seemed to be saying about the extent to which he could or couldn't put his foot down. He made it clear that if he got an unlawful instruction, he didn't feel that he had to implement it. But once there were these machinations going on around the political killings task team, he seemed to be unable to act decisively. Is that a reflection of a lack of power, or is that ultimately a reflection of him as a personality?
Good afternoon to you, John. Yeah, it's early days in the commission, and we must remember that all of this evidence, it's not been corroborated and so on. So we can discuss based on face value that we heard today, and that's a very important point that you just mentioned, is that it's typical. And also one of the reasons why we have this commission of inquiry, and I think that uncertainty of him stemmed from the interpretation and also the fact that the Constitution in Section 206 and 207, where it stipulates and actually lay out the role of the minister, but also that of the National Commissioner. There's some grey areas there, and we could see from the questions from the Commission as well. They wanted to understand when is it strategic and providing direction, and when is it interference. And I think that is the point where the commissioner or the general was actually, he didn't want to commit himself, because remember, there will be repercussions. And if you are seen not to adhere to or listen to a lawful instruction, then you're in trouble. But if that instruction was not a lawful instruction, then you have leeway and you can get away with it. And I think that is a grey area that is currently being discussed.
But with respect, Mr. Els, isn't that the essence of the difficulty that the South African Police Service has found itself over many, many years? That, yes, there may be grey areas, but if you've got a task team that's doing good work, and somebody comes along from outside, because the Minister of Police is an ally and a partner, but he is an outsider, and says, you need to disband this thing. Isn't that the point at which not only the Commissioner needs to put his foot down for himself, but surely others are looking at him within the ranks and saying, well, hang on a bit, we're getting pushed around again?
Yeah, you see, and then we actually got a history of that, and that came out in General Mokonazi's testimony in the previous few days, when he was acting National Commissioner. Exactly that happened, and he was fired. So that is the consequences that we are looking at here, and so I think that is why it's good that we've got this commission.
Right.
We will actually have some recommendations at the end of the day that maybe clear this murky sort of picture that we have.
I get that there may be lack of clarity in the way the Constitution is framed, but this one struck me as crystal clear. It ought to be, at least. My understanding is General Shadrach Sabir reports to General Fani Masemola, and I'm going on a report I read where he says that General Sabir came to his office with a revised letter about the disbandment of the PKTT, the task team, that he wanted him to sign. General Masemola said he wouldn't sign it, and then General Shadrach Sabir issued the letter under his own name. I mean, surely that's clear-cut in terms of right and wrong there.
Exactly. You see, and that is why Mokonazi as well as Masemola, they brought in the police structures and hierarchy. And you know, the police regulations in terms of discipline is very strict on that, and
Right.
also very clear. And I think that is also one of the reasons why Sabia, after he was sent home as per the court case, now he's been suspended because they had time to investigate whether he actually contravened the disciplinary act of the police, and
Right.
that is why he's been suspended. And now, of course, there will be parallel sessions. In one side, he will be subjected to a disciplinary hearing in the police, where he might then be fired if he's found guilty, or alternatively, also the commission might come up with some recommendations.
Thank you so much to Willem Els. He is with the ENACT program at the Institute for Security Studies. 26 minutes now past 5.
EWN Traffic.
This eyewitness traffic is brought to you by Outsurance in partnership with 702. Again, still problems out in Centurion, Karabo.
Yeah, motorists can still expect about a 30-minute delay. N1 northbound from John Foster to Rigel Avenue. This is due to an earlier accident. Also heading into the Joburg CBD, there's an accident scene in the Boysens area, M1 North, near the Crown Interchange, also causing about a 30-minute delay all the way from Boysens Road. In Kelvin, expect about a 30-minute delay as well. N3 northbound, this is from London Road to the Bethlehem Interchange due to an earlier accident. And in Noitgesig, heading into Soweto, traffic sluggish. N17 westbound, this is between the N1 and the Soweto Highway. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. Like a businesswoman on the way to the airport after sleeping through her alarm. Bags in the back, boarding pass on the dashboard. She prays she'll make her flight.
Hope I make it.
The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic. It's the potential closing of a big deal. Every story is different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005. In proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
Corporates That Care promotes and encourages corporate leaders and all citizens to walk the talk for a better South Africa. Catch Corporates That Care this Wednesday at 10 to 9, featuring Hollywood Bets. Their brands and communications manager, Devin Heffo, will be in conversation with Bongani Bingwa. And join us every Wednesday as we highlight the efforts of companies and brands dedicated to building our country. Corporates That Care is a Prime Media Cares initiative with 702 and Prime Media Outdoor. 702. Let's walk the talk and make a difference together.
Calling all wedding planners and venues, restaurants, conference centers, and hotels. Do you need tables and chairs? Home in One has it all. Do you need cutlery, crockery, table linen, and restaurant equipment? Home in One has it all. Do you need tents, gazebos, or umbrellas? Home in One has it all. Affordable prices, the latest trends, with 2 branches in Pretoria and Johannesburg. Shop online at homein1.co.za. Because we're your number one choice. Home in One has it all.
Smart Steve from Momentum. Hello.
Stevie, it's Clinton Myers, the Minister of National Treasures.
Mr. Minister, how can Momentum Insure help you?
This economy is not helping with the cost of my gusheshe, my tires, man.
Just get Momentum Insure's safety returns and get up to 30% cash back, even if you claim.
Is it true?
Stru's Bob, Mr. Minister. Visit momentum.co.za or call 0860 006 784. Momentum Insure, keeping you safe on your journey to success. Momentum Insure is an authorized non-life insurer. T's and C's apply.
EWN Business.
Stephen Curtis, a very good afternoon to you. Another very interesting day on the markets. Good for gold. What else?
Yeah, not for everything else, though, John. Good afternoon. I mean, superb for gold. Another new world gold price. Come on, Stephen. Another new record high for gold earlier in the day. But the JSE All Share falling to down 0.14% at the end. 105,963 points is where it ended. Financials down 1.38. Industrials down 0.9. But resources, of course, driven by gold, up 2.37%. We'll discuss this more on the Money Show, how gold is also pulling up platinum. It does happen, John. I'm not making it up, and we'll talk more about that on the Money Show this evening. That, of course, driving gold shares, particularly Harmony, up nearly 9.5% on the day. Sibanye Stillwater up 4.79%, DRD Gold up 4.3%, and Goldfields, Pan African Resources, Anglo Gold, all up very strongly. Glencore also up nearly 2.5%. Tough day for Sasol, down 8% on the day. 91 down 5%, and then Woolworths are down 3.62%. On the Money Show this evening, we'll hear from the CEO of Knoll Plus, Maxim Sina. They've taken over operational control of MultiChoice. He'll explain their view of the future. We'll ask questions about local content and the future of what you can watch on MultiChoice and how it's all going to work. Questions about the future of Showmax too, because it's still not making money at this point. Renogen and Solar, the group, they've reached an end to their dispute over a particular section of land in Springbok in the Northern Cape. They've decided they're stronger together, John, and that will basically allow the one company to extract natural gas from the piece of land, while the Springbok Solar Project will be able to continue to generate electricity from the same piece of land. In the US today, there was a record high, of course, on Friday, so markets were slightly lower at the start. A bit of uncertainty coming from the US President Donald Trump and his crackdown on visas. He's charging $100,000 for some applications for H-1B1 visas. The Dow Jones now, though, up 0.11%, NASDAQ up 0.26%, the S&P 500 up 0.16% on the day. The gold price, $3,725.43. Platinum up to $1,412.08. Brent crude, $66.36. The rand to the dollar, 17.35. To the euro, 20.42. To the British pound, 23.42. Also tonight on the Money Show, John, I know you spoke to Kulakane Mate from Business Unity SA. We'll get some analysis on the strength of their legal case around these employment equity regulations. I'm particularly interested in why they waited so long. If they had a problem, why wait until after they're implemented rather than the other organizations that went before? Also, and looking forward to this conversation, we'll speak to the Supersport presenter Neil Andrews. Had a long career in sports broadcasting. Ask him if the stories that we have in South African sport are just better and more interesting than the stories you have in, Australian sport. Stephen Curtis, EWN Business.
Thanks, Stephen. It's coming up now for 27 minutes to 6. Let's get the latest from Maki Mulapo. She's got your Eyewitness News headlines.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola has admitted that he didn't explicitly refuse the instruction to disband the political killings task team due to the immense pressure from Police Minister Senzo Mchunu. Testifying at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry in Pretoria today, Masemola clarified that he wasn't in support of Police Minister Mchunu's directive to disband the unit with immediate effect. It's alleged that Mchunu may have sought to dissolve the unit to protect criminal syndicates that were being investigated by the task team. When asked why he didn't explicitly challenge the minister's attempt to disband the task team, this was Masemola's response.
You say the instruction was unlawful. So why obey it if you've told us that you would not obey an unlawful instruction?
The positions that we find ourselves as government officials, well, we go through things. If you were sitting in my position where I was, and this minister is insistent, I had to end up saying, well, if we do it your way, I don't accept, but let's rather do it my way.
Proceedings have concluded for the day, and Masemola is set to conclude his testimony tomorrow morning. Joburg Metro Police is warning the public of a fraudulent recruitment scam, falsely inviting applicants to a last chance physical assessment at the Ramaphosa Athletic Stadium in Roodepoort. The scam, which has been widely circulated on social media platform WhatsApp by an individual claiming to be T. Kuduza, requesting applicants to pay a fee to bypass certain stages of the recruitment process. GMPD spokesperson Xolani Fihla.
The options presented in the message include a second chance option where you pay 2,500 Rand for another attempt at the wall jump assessment, and a priority option where you pay 5,000 Rand to proceed directly to the psychological test stage, and thirdly, an advanced selection option where you pay 7,000 Rand to proceed directly to the interview stage.
Fihla is urging the public to remain vigilant and not fall victim to the scam, saying the department does not charge any fees for recruitment, assessments or any part of an application process.
All official JMPD communications will come from official channels and will never request payment via informal methods like cash send or e-wallet.
The Independent Financial Advisors Forum has raised concern over what it calls an unlawful and irregular medical aid broker tender process by the city of Tshwane. The forum says the metro is violating workers' rights by continuing with its plans to appoint a single medical aid broker for employees. In a statement released yesterday, it says members of medical aid schemes have the right to choose their brokers and an employer cannot impose this on staff. Spokesperson Njabulo Majola says they've warned the metro that going ahead with the move could undermine efforts of transformation.
If the city proceeds with the tender, this will be in gross violation of the inherent rights of the employees of the city who are members of medical aid schemes. IFF has a duty to remind the city that it has no legal right to usurp the inherent rights of members.
And the European Union Cybersecurity Agency says criminals are using ransomware to cause chaos in airports around the world. Several of Europe's busiest airports have spent the past few days trying to restore normal operations after Friday's cyber attack disrupted their automatic check-in and boarding software. The European Union Agency for Cybersecurity told the BBC today that the malicious software was used to scramble automatic check-in systems. It's not known who is behind the attack, but criminal gangs often use ransomware to seriously disrupt their victims' systems and demand a ransom in Bitcoin to reverse the damage. A look at your weather. Partly cloudy skies in store for Gauteng tomorrow, along with isolated showers and thunder showers expected. Temperatures will drop to overnight lows between 11 and 14 degrees and peak at highs between 30 and 32 degrees.
30-minute delay Centurion on the N1 northbound between John Foster and Rigel due to an earlier accident. Also in the Kelvin area heading towards Midrand, there's about a 30-minute delay. N3 north between London Road and the Butler Interchange also due to an earlier accident. And in Alex, there's bumper-to-bumper traffic. N3 south from the Butler Interchange all the way to Geldenhuys.
The top story in Eyewitness News. National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola has admitted that he didn't explicitly refuse the instruction to disband the political killings task team due to the immense pressure from Police Minister Senzo Mchunu.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
Tata Morero, when were you expecting to construct this new pipeline, the one that's been constructed this morning by Joburg Water? I mean, did it have to take the residents to protest for 2 weeks?
There's no project that has to start as a result of a protest. In 2025, this year in June, we set aside in our budget 800 million that we're investing in the area. Also building a reservoir there, which will be concluded and handed over end of October.
Clements Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
Ready to lead and make our world a better place? Regenesis School of Education proudly launches its revolutionary Bachelor of Education program. They don't just develop teachers, they develop conscious leaders equipped with IQ, STEM, AI, and emotional intelligence. Study in the heart of Sandton or online worldwide with a world-class faculty trusted by over 1,000 corporations and 500,000 alumni from 150 countries. Enroll now at regenesis.net/education. Regenesis School of Education, awakening potential.
Backed by popular demand, legendary jazz icon Kenny G will be performing at the Super Bowl at Sun City on Friday, the 3rd of October. Get ready for an unforgettable night of timeless hits and pure musical magic. Get your tickets from webtickets.co.za. Brought to you by Breakout Events and 702.
Naked people are totally zen. Because naked people spend less time on insurance admin and more time meditating and balancing their chakras. With Naked, you can cover your car, home, and stuff in seconds, and it's all online, so that means no long phone calls. Go to naked.insure now, get a car insurance quote in 90 seconds, and start meditating like naked people. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Hi, Dr. John. I have a couch in my house that I use for good luck. So when the Springbok were playing the World Cup final, and I was watching it nervously, especially the last 5 minutes, because the All Blacks were all over the Springboks. I sat on that couch, and immediately after sitting on that couch, the game just turned. The All Blacks just became tired. I'm probably making this up. Tabo from Dawsonville.
Good afternoon, John. Look, I think the issue of the enhanced games, it will be interesting to see what happens, if and when records get broken. I mean, we know it will not be official, but will it not get more people to want to see this enhanced human performance? You look at the Ben Johnson 1988 scandal. 9.79 was for the longest time the fastest, but it was never on record. And everybody kept on saying, what if it was people were allowed just to have performance enhancing drugs or supplements? So yeah, we will see how it goes. Next year is not too far, and I'm torn in between here, to be honest. Kiki.
Hey 702, I was just wondering on Woodmead Drive, just before the golf drivers range, there's another roadblock under that bridge. They have them almost every day and every night, but there are no JMPD vehicles. It's just guys in so-called JMPD uniform. They don't have badges on, they don't have names on, and they are just stopping the cars. They've just got some cones. Is it even a legit roadblock? I was stopped in a roadblock a few weeks ago where when I asked the guy for his badge and his badge number, he ran off down the road and climbed into one of the plain white cars. So are these guys legit JMPD, or are they just standing there hoping to get bribes from as many people as they can and then they'll be gone? Interesting. Anybody driving on Woodmead Drive?
It's a very interesting question you're asking there, Jenny, because when you may recall a while back, it was probably about 6 months ago, it might even have been longer, but we did a whole thing about where are the hotspots where roadblocks get set up around the Gauteng area and bribes are solicited. And my recollection of our conversation with Kenny Fiedler from the JMPD was that if a group of cops decide, okay, we're going to set up here, you don't have to record that in advance. There was some. Let's come back on this story and see what clarity we can get as to what the kind of paper trail is. Because if you feel that you've been badly treated at a roadblock under a bridge on Woodmead Drive, for example, this being the case in point, you ought to be able to go back to the JMPD, or if it's in Tshwane, to the TMPD, Ekurhuleni, EMPD, and so on, and say, okay, this happened, this was the place, this was the time, and they ought to be able, to my mind at least, saying on duty was Officer Perlman, Chale, Fairburn, and Malapile, or whatever it was, and this is what they recorded as their activities for that time. So let's see if we can follow up on that and find out more. If anybody does know more about it already, get it going with us and give us a call, please, on 011 883 0702. Quick one on the enhanced games. I will not watch 1 minute of it. I think it's amoral. I also think it's rubbish, and by way of sporting entertainment. And I think the huge crowds and massive TV audiences for the World Athletics Championships, notwithstanding the fact that formal athletics has had its drug scandals, I think testifies to the fact that people want to see the real thing, and I would count myself amongst them. This quickly on the question of why Commissioner General Fani Masemola did not necessarily push back on the pressure he was being put under. This from Tabangu says, many years ago, my dad was a policeman and they had this unofficial policy, then in quotes he puts, comply and complain later. I don't know if it is still like that. That may well be true at junior officer level, at constable level, and so on. But when you're the head of the whole show, part of your job surely is to protect not just your job, but the South African Police Service itself. My take, but I'd love yours. It's 5:45.
EWN Sport.
When we say sport, we mean Tolakele Mganga. Good afternoon.
Afternoon, John, and we start in Lahore, where South Africa have lost the third ODI against Pakistan by 6 wickets, but they still won the series 2-1. Earlier, Captain Lara Valvat top scored with 28 as the Proteas women were bowled out for just 115 in the 26th over. Next up for South Africa is a World Cup warm-up against Bangladesh on Thursday. For the men, Shukri Conrad believes that Quinton de Kock will also help mentor the youngsters in the Proteas setup. This follows his ODI retirement U-turn. De Kock has been called up for the short ball series against Pakistan, while Captain Themba Bavuma will miss the games due to a calf strain.
And you still need some experienced heads around, and it'd be a great opportunity to get him straight in and add that calming influence and bring the quality that he brings, So as to whether there's a policy around older guys, there never was. All I ever said that when South Africa plays, I'd like our best players to be available, and that hasn't changed.
The world's best men and women's players will be crowned this evening with the Ballon d'Or Awards scheduled to take place in Paris. PSG forward Ousmane Dembele is tipped to hold off Barcelona sensation Lamine Yamal to win the men's prize, having led the Parisians to a maiden European title. Anotea Bonmatia could win a third consecutive women's prize. That's after she was named player of the tournament at the UEFA Women's Euros back in July. Switching to local football, where Siwelele chairman Kevin Lejohn has explained the club's policy around travel after it was revealed they make their way by bus for Betway Premiership games. In a wide-ranging announcement, Lejohn confirmed the departure of CEO Stan Matthews along with assistant coach Andre Aronsa that follows a poor run in the league.
We've put a policy in place that requires us only to fly when traveling above 600 kilometers. We'll sometimes make exceptions when there are too many fixtures in a week, but unfortunately, in order to run a sustainable team, these are the choices that we are going to have to make. We're not in this for a profit, but we're not in this for a loss either. We seek to create a sustainable team that will be here in the next 10 years to come.
And Christian Horner has officially left Red Bull after being ousted in July, with British media reporting that he's been handed an £80 million settlement. A Red Bull statement announced his formal departure after he was removed after 20 years at the helm. He was dismissed after a controversial 18 months that started when a female employee accused him of sexual harassment, while an internal power struggle at the team accompanied a loss of competitiveness. Tolakele Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
At 12 minutes to 6, this EWN Traffic is brought to you by Take a Lot. Happy delivered.
Well, John, we still have about a 30-minute delay in the Centurion area. This is on the N1 northbound approaching, this is between John Foster and Rigel Avenue due to an earlier accident. Irene, traffic pressure approaching the intersection of Nalmapius Drive and Main Road. In the Sunning Hill area, there's also slow moving traffic. This is on Witkoppen Road between Rivonia Road and the R55 Maxwell Drive. There's about a 30-minute delay. Calvin heading towards Midrand N3 northbound between London Road and the Butler Interchange due to an earlier accident. In Alex, traveling towards Bedfordview, Germiston, you can still expect more than a 30-minute delay. N3 south from the Butler Interchange to Geldenays. And in Devlin, roadwork still causing delays on the Golden Highway between the N1 and Union Avenue. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Traffic is trafficking. The robots aren't AI, but more like an eye roll, and service delivery isn't delivering. But luckily, Take-A-Lot is. Shop anything from beauty and sport to tech and toys at everyday low prices and get it delivered to your door faster than you can get home, even when you take the back roads. A delivery so quick, the speed thrills. Halala with no limits. Just the open road of happiness before you. Take-A-Lot. Happy delivered.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
702 Drive. Just quick one on that Woodmead roadblock. My Weza says the roadblock by Woodmead is by national traffic.
I guess, yeah, you get national traffic, you get JMPD, you get the JMPD who just deals with speeding. And yeah, you get whole different kinds of.
All right, so that would start making some sense. Lots more to dig into, but let's get into some music now. And you were talking about artists who like prompt the question in your mind, whatever happened to? Who do you have in mind?
Well, I was listening to this jazz show on radio, and they played Jamie Cullum's song. That's what was it? These Are the Days. And I was like, he used to be my favorite jazz artist. I remember I went to the Standard Bank Arena to watch him.
Yes.
He used to always fascinate me, a great pianist. And it just prompted me, Wuti, where are these other artists? And a few of them came. Leona Lewis. I think the last time she released an album was in 2014. And then the other one that I used to enjoy, she just dwindled away. Kerry Hilson. Apparently she has an album that she released this year, but nobody knows of it. I guess the promoters are not doing a great job. But there's this one particular song that I really enjoyed, Pretty Girl Rock. And it just used to bring out the drag queen in me. So, yeah.
Oh, the drag queen in you. Well, this is a... I have to say you're not dressed for it today. So whose song is it?
Oh, so it's Kerry Hilson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Pretty Girl Rock.
Okay, so Pretty Girl Rock brings, well, let's see if this brings out the drag queen in you. But give us a call on this and tell us who's your whatever happened to artist, your favorite one, where you think, oh man, I loved them. Loved what they did. They're no longer doing what they did. And I wonder whatever happened to their career. While we are enjoying Kerry Hilson, start sending me your messages, your suggestions, and your songs. We need them on 072 702 1702.
What's your name? My name is Carrie. I'm so very fly. Oh my, it's a little bit scary. Boys wanna marry, looking in my dairy. And you can stare, but if you touch it, I'm a berry. Pretty as a picture, sweeter than a swisher. Mad cause I'm cuter than the girl that's with you. I don't gotta talk about it, baby, you can see it. But if you won't, I'll be happy to repeat it. My name is Carrie. I'm so very fly. Oh my, it's a little bit scary. Boys wanna marry, looking in my dairy. And you can stare, but if you touch it, I'm a berry. Pretty as a picture, sweeter than a swisher. Mad cause I'm cuter than the girl that's with you. I could talk about it cause I know that I'm pretty. And if you know it too, then ladies sing it with me. All eyes on me when I walk in. No question that this girl's a 10. Don't
Kerry Hilson, when she was having a huge impact, particularly on my colleague Karabo Chale, with that song Pretty Girl Rock. So the question is, that song, by the way, came out in 2010 on her second studio album, No Boys Allowed. Leading his little list of the questions, whatever happened to? Where did they go? Why did they stop making music? That had a big impact. If you've got somebody in mind and a song that illustrates that somebody in mind, drop it into our inbox, please, on 072 7021 702.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
Helen Ziller, no surprises, I suppose, to this election. And what difference do you hope to bring to Johannesburg, not having lived in the city for a very long time?
Fire in my belly to stop the rot and to work with a really great team to turn it around. I concede a massively bloated administration, but for the budget, the extent and the size of Joburg's and the complexity of Joburg's, I'm going to bring in some real experts to help me analyze exactly where the problems are.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
At the heart of global conversations shaping the future, Africa's voice matters more than ever. As Africa's largest bank by assets and lead sponsor of the B20 Summit, Standard Bank Group is proud to spotlight the continent's growth, partnerships and potential on the world stage. Through informed dialogue and powerful partnerships, Standard Bank is driving sustainable growth where it matters most. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
The Johannesburg Philharmonic Orchestra presents its Symphonic Jazz Festival. Enjoy iconic South African jazz with full orchestra, big band and rhythm section led by Marcus Wyatt. Featuring a stellar lineup of artists. Linda Auditorium on 24 September, 7:30 p.m. Tickets at Quicket.
The Fine Fragrance Sale is back, 24 to 28 September. Enjoy up to 50% off on selected fine fragrance brands, plus amazing deals on makeup and skincare products. Get down to the Kyalami Grand Prix circuit. Don't miss your chance to score unbeatable prices on top international fragrance and cosmetic brands. The sale ends on the 28th of September. See you there.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Hey, Daddy John, I want to know what happened to Owl City. You know, they had such a lovely song. I'd like to make myself believe that planet Earth turns slowly. I wonder what happened to that song and that man.
Not believe your eyes if 10 million fireflies lit up the world as I fell asleep. 'Cause they fill the open air and leave teardrops everywhere. You'd think me rude, but I would just stand and stare. I'd like to make myself believe that planet Earth turns slow. It's hard to say that I'd rather stay awake when I'm asleep, 'cause everything is never as it seems. 'Cause I get 1,000 hugs from 10,000 lightning bugs as they tried to teach me how to dance. A foxtrot above my head, a sock hop beneath my bed, a disco ball is just hanging by a thread.
Yeah, okay, so Owl City, it's a music project created in 2007. Now, their third studio album came out in 2011, but the person who started it, Adam Young, then went on to do his own stuff and put out an album in 2023. So kind of disappeared, but didn't disappear altogether. Another one that is possibly, okay, let's have a listen.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for playing my song. I feel like crying. I'm so happy. This is Yolande from Centurion.
Okay, well, we aim to please Jonathan Fairbairn, an artist who is cracking it, doing it, and disappeared, not seen for a while. Who's on your mind?
Well, Nelly Furtado at one stage was so good. I mean, she came out with a really great album, and then she did some great collaborations with Justin Timberlake and he slips my name now, Timbaland as well. And then she completely disappeared, and I think maybe over the last month or two she's made a reappearance, performing her music again, but not anything new. But she was really, really good. So I thought, let's maybe play this one, Karabo.
Take it back, take it back, take it back.
Whatever happened to Nelly Furtado and all sorts of other people? No time to play your other suggestions as we come to the end of 702 Drive with me, John Perlman, and the team. To all of our Jewish listeners preparing for the first night of Rosh Hashanah, Shana Tova. Good night.
And now, The Money Show.
With Stephen Grootes, live on 92.7 and 106 FM. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
And DSTV channel 856.
The Money Show with Stephen Grootes is brought to you by ABSA CIB, banking on local growth with Club Med South Africa to bring the first resort of its kind to the country. Good evening on your Money Show tonight. The CEO of Canal Plus, Maxime Seda, on the future of multi-choice, the battle for streaming, and how they want to use local content to take over the world. Boursa goes to court in the fight over the new employment equity regulations. New warnings about that dangerous phrase, buy now, pay later. And from 7:30, Supersport's Neil Andrews on his twin love affairs with broadcasting and sport. All of that to come. But first, the very latest Eyewitness News.
Good evening, I'm Zingisa Cherwa. National Police Commissioner Fani Masemula has had holes poked in his testimony as his contradictory statements left members of the Madlanga Commission baffled. Masemula concluded his testimony for the day as the second witness at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, sitting at the Bridget Mabandla Justice College in Pretoria today. But it was his stance on the instruction to disband the political killings task team issued by Police Minister Senzo Mchunu in December that left the commissioners questioning how he processed the instruction. Oren Singh reports.
Very early in his testimony, National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola emphasized he wouldn't comply with an instruction from Police Minister Senzo Mchunu if he deemed it unlawful, such as the directive to immediately disband the KZN Political Killings Task Team. But later, Masemola confirmed he complied with Mchunu's directive to provide a progress report into the disbandment of the team.
I had no alternative left but to say, well, if ever it has to go your way of disbandment, in other words, I'm giving in, but not in his approach, but on my approach.
Commission Chair Justice Mbuyiseli Madlanga was confused by Masemola's fence-sitting approach of providing a progress report on the winding down of the functions of the task team.
Why do you now suddenly talk the language of winding down?
Masemola will conclude his testimony tomorrow morning. Oren Singh, Eyewitness News, Pretoria.
For live updates on the Commission, visit ewn.co.za or watch live proceedings on our YouTube channel. The family of slain former Richmond municipal manager Superstitions says despite the imminent sentencing of the man convicted of killing him, they still want to know who the mastermind behind his killing is. The Durban High Court is set to hand down the sentence of convicted murderer Sabelo Pewa tomorrow. Pewa was convicted for 2 murders, including that of the former manager Amos Ngobo, who were both shot and killed in February 2024. He was also convicted of the attempted murder of a police officer, as well as firearms and ammunition-related charges. Nhlanhla Mabaso reports.
It's been 8 years since Superstitions was killed. His family says it's been difficult to find closure, not knowing the motive behind his murder. They say the family, including his wife and children's lives, have forever changed. His brother, Mluleki Tole.
I cannot lie, dear my sister. It's been very hard since our brothers has left us. We've been struggling.
His sister, Sbongile Hlatshwayo Tole.
He wasn't just a breadwinner who had financed so many kids at school. Some of them had to drop out of school, left his own kids who also couldn't be funded to go to school anymore. So many things just went wrong from that moment he left our lives.
And while the Durban High Court will tomorrow sentence Sabelo Pewa, the family remains hopeful the mastermind will get nabbed. Nhlanhla Mabaso, Eyewitness News, Durban.
Operation Tutula says it has no plans on tapering down its unlawful exercise of preventing what they say are undocumented foreign nationals from accessing public healthcare facilities. This is despite a passionate plea to the organization by Gauteng Health MEC Nomantu Nkomralihoko following the death of a 1-year-old child. The child died after his Malawian mother, Grace Banda, was allegedly prevented by Operation Tutula members from accessing the Alexandra Clinic in Johannesburg last week. Thabiso Koba has more.
I just say to all those that are blocking access to the institutions, can they think about their children that are going to die like this one that the journalist is asking me about now, which I am unable even to answer. How will I feel if it was my grandchild?
That was the plea made by Gauteng Health MEC Nomantu Nkomralihoko. However, speaking in Soweto today, Operation Tutula's leader Zandile Dabula says the organization will not stop.
We're not tempering down, we're not backing down, we are continuing with our operations. The allegations and all that, they will be discussed in the courts and all that, but we will continue with our operations.
Dabula has welcomed the police investigations into